Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people, right? You want people to care. You want to strike emotions, and I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one
quarter
too.
pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah, I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice that my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success?
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Superhero Speak. I am your host, Dave.
And I'm John. Did you really have to double the volume to make up for 2 weeks off?
Yes,
For real,
yes, I did.
I'm JD.
And
I know, right?
And this week, boys and girls, we're going to be continuing our trek down the Batman movies. So, of course, we had to bring along our two favorite guests on the planet.
People to torture.
starting with our sometimes comic book reviewer, always willing to fill in, host of the Omega Level Nerds podcast, the one, the only D Square. How you doing, buddy?
Doing wonderful indeed. Thank you so much, Dave, for having me here and making me watch Batman Forever. So,
Oh well, it's not a holiday without watching it.
indeed, it is actually it happens on a holiday, and I totally forgot about that.
Yes,
And
that's
talk
a
about that
Halloween.
when we yes,
Halloween
it's a
movie.
Halloween movie. Yes, forgot about that completely.
Oh, such a stupid thing. All right. And of course, the person that started this journey,
By
who
accident.
we will hate forever. No. Our good friend 8-Bit Ray from the Gorilla Brain podcast. How are you, sir?
No. Batman. I am doing perfectly well. I am in perfectly good health until I watched Batman and got sick all over again.
That does lower your ability to fight off disease.
It is true.
And your
It's
ability
true.
to live.
your want to live.
Yes, I lost it completely. The 5-year-old got me through it because he kept asking silly jokes, or asking silly questions. So that made me a little bit easier to watch this piece of shit.
That would be the preferred way to get through this, is with the MST3K guys, talking over it.
Is there a Rifftrax version of this movie available?
Oh,
should be.
now that I've said
There
that,
should be.
there's gotta be. I
There
can't
should
imagine them
be.
leaving this alone.
So before we get into all that fun, we've been off for 2 weeks. So how was everyone's holidays? JD, how were your holidays?
Solid, decent. Program. My wrestling team got shut down for COVID.
Okay. How many?
I went great.
Like what percentage got it that it had to shut it down?
We don't know officially. I think it's like 7. It might be like 10. I don't know officially the number. Like, we never got the official number. We just said you guys are done till the 10th.
I know in a lot of school districts, it's just a percentage of the overall
It could
student
be.
body. Yeah.
No, they still have school. We just couldn't have practice or anything like that. We were supposed to go to a big
Huh.
tournament over the weekend, and now I've been off. So
Santa bring you anything good?
no, I got no presents actually. Andy got them, which is important. I got nothing. But
Nothing.
my wife told me she had 2 Audible credits, so I picked up 2 audiobooks because she accidentally had 2 Audible credits.
I got
Merry
an
Christmas.
I got an email yesterday. I didn't realize I've got 7 credits.
Oh, hey, I would take advantage of those, man. That's 7 books you could have.
I know, because I just joined the thing where you get a credit a month.
Oh, okay.
And it's so it's just like, oh, I guess I should start downloading books.
Audible's not a great deal though, because like you join Audible, right? And then you get money. You get like a credit, you get like a book, but then if you want to buy a book, like you got to still pay, and it's not like cheaper. Like it's like a little bit cheaper. Like if an audiobook's like $25-$30, it's like, 20.
Yeah.
So you're spending like $10 a month on top of spending more money to buy books. So it's Audible kind of sucks, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So how about you, John?
I did okay. I got an air fryer and a couple of whiskey sipping glasses.
Your life will change with the air fryer. Air fryers are spectacular.
I love my air fryer.
Yeah,
yes,
I love my air fryer as well. Yes,
really.
I don't know a man who says, I don't really care that much for my air fryer. I've never met a human being.
I mean, and it's funny because like like you can put fries in there and they come out just as good as you fried them, and there's no oil. So
I feel like I've joined the secret society. It's like every time I say I just got an air fryer, everybody's like, you just got one.
It's not a secret society. It's like CrossFit. It's like anytime you mention it, people are like, oh, let me tell you my experience with this.
Yeah.
It's far from a secret society.
Apparently, I'm going to need everybody to give me their recipes so I can try them out. Yeah, that's what I heard. So
the only problem I have with my air fryer is I need a bigger one, because otherwise you're just like, bam, pizza rolls.
That's
bam,
the other thing
fries, I heard. Chicken nuggets, boom.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
So yeah, otherwise, I actually narrowly avoided getting COVID. I was supposed to have dinner with a friend of mine right after Christmas, and she called and said that she had been around somebody that had COVID and didn't want to call it off. And I said, well, yeah. And she's just getting over COVID now. So
it's like John O'Grady, COVID ninja.
I'm going to be the only one left that hasn't actually had COVID yet. Either that or they're going to test
so.
I must learn your ways, master.
Well, either that or they're going to find out that I had it a long time ago and just didn't know it. I don't know.
That's possible. You can be asymptomatic. So
we'll tell you this.
I've never been asymptomatic about anything.
That's very accurate. So I caught it last summer, right? And then we got vaxxed. I got vaxxed, then I caught it, then I got boosted. And I was around this mass COVID outbreak, and my 152 pounder, who I was pretty sure had it, but we can't say you need to go get tested. Like we don't have that authority.
Right.
So
oh boy.
This weird thing is being like even if you acknowledge it, you have to just keep your mouth shut. And I'm like, okay. So my kid's in a match, and I've got a strange suspicion he's got COVID, and then he coughed all over me, and I had my mask on, and I took 10 steps backwards and looked at him like he was going to kill him. And then I just said, fuck it, and sat back down. He did, in fact, have COVID, yet I remain good.
Well, I mean, yes.
Impressive.
So
I think the code is you got the vax, then you got the thing, then you got the booster. That seems to be the winning combination.
You're now immortal. I thought you knew that.
I need to start cutting people's heads off. And
Yep. There can only be one variant.
We are at that point, aren't we? Where this variant is mowing down the rest?
Yes.
They found a new one in, was it France?
No, that one actually predates. It turns out that one predates.
Yeah.
So that one didn't catch on.
Yeah, there was an article that just came out like 2 days ago saying they Omicron might actually be the final variant. But
I got to look up on the Vegas sites what the odds are for the next variant.
I keep trying to think of an album that didn't quite catch on, and it's not hitting me at the moment. I have a good joke, but I can't quite find it, so I'm disappointed in myself.
And the answer is probably ABBA. But
how about you, Don? Good Christmas. Did you avoid COVID?
You know what? I did. I pretty much have this whole time. Now, mind you, I spend about 70% of my existence in the same 100-foot square space here in the house. So maybe that's helping me out. But the whole rest of the family, they've had it before. I don't know. It's missing me. So yeah, I missed it this holiday, but had a great holiday, namely because some cool stuff came out comic book wise. We also got Book of Boba Fett, which we'll be talking about. Hawkeye resolved right on the tail end of No Way Home for Spider-Man. Rolling into some cool shit. Rich Dueck, friend of the show. I know we don't do videos.
Yes.
So we don't have to show that. But yes.
Which book's that by Rich?
Wastelander Star-Lord. So this is his first entry into Marvel, and it's, of course, in the Old Man universe, or whatever you want to call it, where the villains basically rule USA. And Peter Quill comes back from space to visit the X-Mansion. So, in a way, Rich Dueck has actually written a little bit of X-Men for Marvel, so that was cool. He, of course, spoiler alert, included a little bit of Colossus in there, which I always appreciate. So I didn't know what to expect, because I know Rich does the horror and suspense sort of thing, but it works. Like, great idea, great story. So, and the Wastelanders, Doom, Star-Lord, whatever, they're all one shot, so you don't have to get them all. But definitely get that. That was a really cool. I know Rich is great, but I was really just surprised at just hitting a home run. And of course, it involved the X-Men. So that was awesome. And Jonathan Hickman has finally made his exit from the X-Men. They concluded Inferno. So that was interesting. And Trial of Magneto was also concluded during the holidays. So that was interesting as well. Because like they turned Scarlet Witch from like this big pariah. Now she's like cool with the mutants again and like acknowledges Magneto as her dad. So
good. We're back to that.
I mean, they're not, but she's like, but you are. You know what I'm saying? Like the X-Men can never be simple. It's you're not my dad, but you are.
So Venus is in the fourth quadrant of Mars again, right? Like, and when that
never mind you that the mutants took over Mars. That was a couple months ago.
Okay.
So
you're praising Rich Duick, and I just want to say something for a second because I've been friends with Rich for about a decade.
Wonderful.
And he's a good friend, and this guy has been grinding for a decade, right? To get an opportunity. And the fact that people are starting to realize how good a writer he really is, and he's getting attention from big two editors, finally, it means the world to me, to be honest with you, to hear just random people talking about him like fans, and it just makes me smile, like to see good things happen for good people.
Rich Duick is possibly the greatest writer working in comics today. Rich, the check cleared, so we're good.
Oh, I praising my friend. Like I hear it. I want to make sure everybody.
No, I love his
There's
books.
nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
it
makes me want to read it now. So.
Legit, I went into this thinking, I'll read it, and certainly it's Rich, so I'm going to say like good things about it. But legit, I read it. I was like, holy fuck! Like, no, there will be no pomp and circumstance whatsoever. This is fucking awesome. So yeah, he really is awesome. I mean, to do what he did just in this one shot. I mean, this is challenging. This is rarely in comics do you get one shot, boom. I mean, it happens, but it's hard in my opinion. And yeah, awesome job, Rich.
All right,
nice.
And speaking of not avoiding COVID, how are you doing, Ray? How was your holiday?
Santa brought me a sack full of bullshit called COVID.
Yeah, how bad was it?
Mild headaches, sporadic body weakness. I would be like supercharged 1 second and then like ready for a nap the next. Crazy.
That sounds about right.
Explosive diarrhea.
Oh,
as a grown man admitting to the world that he may have or may not have shit himself on the porch outside on New Year's Eve.
It's COVID times. Everything goes.
I'm glad that was the last. I'm glad that was the last thing in 2021. Was just getting myself 2 hours before the ball dropped.
God damn, 2021
gives new meaning to dropping the ball.
Yeah, right.
True. Yeah.
As a man with celiac disease, I feel your pain, my friend. I've been there. No more humbling a moment can a man go through than the shitting of one's pants as an adult.
You can tighten it up like a dolphin's dorsal, but you know what? You can't stop it all, man.
Nope.
Can't stop it all.
Sometimes you think you got to fart and you just go, I just got to fart. No, I don't. No, I don't.
Never trust a fart.
No. Sometimes you don't even feel like a fart. It's just like, whoop, and that's it. Not even a warning, not even a prelude. It's just like, whoop, shit. So, yep, that was it. That was my New Year's Eve. So, Happy New Year, everybody. Bob Saget's dead, by the way.
Yeah. Good. Bring us all down.
Sorry.
That's why we bring Ray on the show.
Oh no, you want to be down. The last thing that happened in 2021 was Betty White
on New Year's Eve, which I saw. I love the post I saw though. It was like, and this is obviously this is meant in all respect to Betty White, but it's like, think about this: Betty White passed away on New Year's Eve, so millions of people will be toasting her tonight. In comedy, everything is timing.
The one I saw was she put her hands around the neck of 2021 and said, "I'm taking you with me," and then fell off into the fires of Mordor to take 2021, down for good.
I think the worst part is it was like 17 days before her 100th birthday.
Yeah.
We were just talking about celebrating her 100th birthday. Yeah.
People magazine wrote an article. They jinxed it. Those selfish mother.
No. I mean, you could say that, but since she was like 80 and she was still so popular, everybody, all the publications already had her obituary written. And the more popular she got, the more stuff they had ready to go as soon as she died. Like that's the way that works, really.
Unfortunately,
so they're
all vultures.
Yeah, but now Queen Elizabeth will now be the Highlander. There can be only one, guys. So she's what? She's 4 years off from being 100. So there you go.
She won't. It's going to take World War III to take that one out.
Those shows live forever.
It's interesting though, like Bob Saget. It's weird because like
I didn't hear that he had gone.
It just happened.
An hour ago.
Yeah.
Right.
He was in Florida. He did a set in Florida last night, and he was in the hotel room, and they found him unresponsive, and there's no cause of death at this time. So like people don't realize he's from Philly, and he grew up in my neighborhood, and my mom used to work at a Dunkin' Donuts, and his parents, well, his dad at least, would come in every morning to get coffee. Like this was back in the 80s, 90s, like. My Full House was real popular in America's Funniest Home Videos, and it's the only celebrity autograph my mom has. It's of Bob Saget. So, yeah. Also, most people don't realize he's really blue in his actual act.
Very much the Aristocrats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Whereas he did a family show for years. So,
and the Funniest Home Videos.
I'd act normal too. I would act like a sane person if the check cleared.
Yeah, exactly. So. All right. Yeah, he'll be missed.
Damn. Okay, so now that we brought everybody down, let's talk about Batman Forever.
Let's just drag you even further down.
Yeah. Well, we primed them. Now we can, set the depression.
Is this better or worse than Superman 3? Let's ask that question.
We can.
That's not a review. That's just a legit question of mine.
Are we skipping right to the main event?
No, I just want to know what to start with. Like, okay, we'll pontificate this while we do the other news. Is this movie worse than Superman 3? Let's table and review.
Okay,
absolutely not.
So before we get all that, I have a very important question. We had 2 weeks off. JD,
no,
you did not watch Hawkeye.
I watched one episode and I didn't love it.
Oh my god!
Oh man,
you gotta.
I know. I got to give it more.
Yeah, you got to give it the 3. Give it the 3. And then it'll pay off for you.
Yeah. I didn't.
All right. So what did you like in the first episode?
There's nothing I didn't like, but there's nothing that I did like. It was just like kind of happening, and I don't dislike the Kate Bishop character. I think Haley Steinfeld did a fine job. I just found myself not caring. I was just like, honestly, this is what I thought. I'm like, I watched this and I'm like, Spider-Man was way better than this.
Yes. But
the movie?
Yeah. Yes. The last Spider-Man movie was way better.
You have all that setup already done for you.
But that's also requiring 3 hours of my time in the theater. Well, this is requiring 8 hours of my time to just sit there and imbibe all this stuff when there's other things I could do. There's books I could read. There's body parts I could exercise. There's, other shows I could watch.
You could get on a treadmill and watch it while you're...
I'll say this.
Okay, Mr. Matt, you think I'm made of treadmills? Think I got a treadmill at my house?
Putting you down for next Christmas. Okay.
Oh yeah, if you buy one, I'll take one.
I just kill me in every book, and I will send you the money. Okay.
That is inspiration to do another Kickstarter. Is I need to kill John O'Grady again.
Yeah.
I have one and I never use it.
All right. So you watched the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this: I did like, and because this is in the first episode, how they set up the Clint Barton character at this point in the story.
It's okay.
He's the reluctant soldier who's like, he was in Afghanistan. He's home now. Everyone's calling him a hero, and he's like, I'm just a guy who did a job. Like, leave me be a family man.
I think what my problem is the time commitment required, which is the thing that initially made me really like these shows, is now making me. It's just like, oh, I got to sit and watch this whole thing. Like, I find it more of a barrier to entry than I'm finding it an enjoyable part of these things. I feel like it feels like homework to me at this point.
I felt the same way for the first 2 episodes. I watched the first episode. Oh my God, my kids have me saying literally. Okay. The second, and so I watched the first, and I looked at the second episode. I was like, oh my God, why is it so long? I went back and watched the rest, and I ended up enjoying it. Am I back? Did you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, you froze for like half a second.
I think you got
no lag for like 2 weeks. I guess so. But I felt the same way.
Try to claim them.
Right, trying to get me. I was angry at the length of the second episode. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I got to watch this. I left it alone for like a week or two and then went back and I thoroughly enjoyed it because I did not like the Kate Bishop character but she does grow on you a little bit because she does eventually come to the realization of what the hell she's putting Hawkeye through.
Yeah.
And then so you see her genuinely trying, okay, let me help this dude clean this stuff up so he can get home to his family for Christmas.
Yeah.
Other than that, Spider-Man, of course, showed us Daredevil. This shows us Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin. So for any of you fans of the Daredevil Netflix stuff, it was one other reason to get you excited because you saw Kingpin.
We still won't see Iron Fist. He's not coming back.
You don't think at all? Not even the dragon?
Not well, we've got Shang-Chi now, so why would we need Danny Rand?
Yeah. But what was I going to say? It is essentially planes, trains, and automobiles of the Marvel Universe, isn't it? Trying to get home for Thanksgiving, trying to get home for Christmas.
I called it Lethal Weapon. That's kind of what they're partnering.
Yeah, it does have that feel too. Yeah. So, all right. Fine, JD. How about the other show that came out?
Watch the first episode, and then I just forgot about the second part.
There's only 2 out, right?
There's only 2. I haven't got a chance to watch the second one because we need to get a new. Okay, so on New Year's Day, I was driving my car, and then the engine seized on me, so I was stuck in the middle of the highway. My wife was up in Wisconsin, needed to get home, so then I had to get her spare car. We had to get it back Friday or Saturday morning. I dropped it off. We had to go to bed early because we had to go up northern Wisconsin get my father-in-law's truck. So I drove all the way up to northern Wisconsin, get my father-in-law's truck, turn the ignition, starters broke. So then they have to come back. And then we have to get the car towed down the street. This is in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. We had to get the car towed, get this stuff all fixed up, right? Then we drive all the way back home. And this is the stuff I've been dealing with. When I get home, I don't want to watch TV. I just want to go to bed.
That's
every day it's been something like this. Like we had 3 straight days of long tournaments, and then I had to clean them. And then we have this stuff. I just don't want to watch TV at the moment. I just want to go to bed. I just want to sleep. We'll give watch Batman Forever today. I could have watched Hawkeye today, but no, I had to watch Batman instead.
So what I'm hearing is that you're angry at Joel Schumacher.
Oh, I'm so angry at Joel Schumacher, and I will never forgive him. God Boba Fett was good. I liked it. I was surprised by the vitriol I saw in the book of Boba Fett. There's a lot of people that really hated that first episode. I didn't mind it.
I'll never watch it again because I'm uncomfortable with the inside of the Sarlacc pit. That kind of thing generally makes me uncomfortable.
Being inside a Sarlacc pit was
right. Well, yeah, and just
do you normally find yourself near a Sarlacc pit?
Right. I mean, a claustrophobic thing like Kill Bill 2. I love that movie. I love that movie, but I really don't watch it a lot because of that Texas funeral part. Like it freaks me out, man.
I get it.
So
I feel the issues. This is just my opinion. It was 2 things. I will say the escape from the Sarlacc pit felt a little anticlimactic. Like he shot his blowtorch and then climbed out a hole. Like,
well, it does take him. It does take. 3PO says it will take you 1,000 years to be digested inside the Sarlacc.
Right.
So you had time. And here's the second question: and I couldn't remember this. Is the Sarlacc dead? Like when
I would imagine.
When the rebels bounced, did they kill the Sarlacc when Jabba's sail barge blows up? I honestly can't remember.
There's more than one
Sarlacc isn't dead then, but from what videos and whatnot, the reason why he's scarred is because with his flamethrower he superheated the inside, so that's why he's scarred because his armor started almost like melt onto him.
Okay.
But yeah, I would expect then like some indigestion or something, him get spit out, but he comes out of the sand like 50 yards away from it.
It was a very Voorhees shot. I liked it.
Yeah.
And then I do think we felt maybe here's this character who has always had this potential to be the biggest badass in Star Wars, but did 3 things in the movies, and now we get to see him talk to people and negotiate because he's now the new crime lord. Like I think people wanted more action. Yeah, I think people wanted more action in the first. So
I can see that. I had an existential crisis watching the show. Let me drop this because Betty White died the day I watched the show, right? So the day before I watched the show. So I did like everyone else. I had a little mini Golden Girls marathon. Boy, that show ages fantastically. And then it occurs to me what Golden Girls really is. It's purgatory, right? These women go to Florida and they wait to die.
Oh my God.
That's the whole thing. They're there in Florida waiting to die. And they're 55 and that show starts. So I was like, oh my God, that's not that old. That's freaking horrible. We're all going to die soon. And this is what this show is doing to me. And then I watched Book of Boba Fett, right? And the woman Twilight character, the crime lord, I didn't catch her name, but I'm like, wow, she's really attractive. Who is that? And I look it up and it's Jennifer Beals. I'm like, Jennifer Beals, Flash Dance. She looks great. How old is she? Jennifer Beals is older now than Betty White was on Golden Girls when it first started. So that just blew my mind. And it got me rethinking again about people just don't age the way they used to, right? Like 50 back in the day was like, they're like, look at the women on Golden Girls. They got that grandma hair and like, they look like, they just look like old people. Whereas Jennifer Beals is walking around half naked with, Twilight horns or whatever. And I never would have guessed she's almost 60 years old.
Yeah.
Like, but I think it gives you hope as a guy, for your wife.
It truly
You're like,
does. It gives me hope for me. Like, that's what I really care about. It's me.
But I'll say this too. I think they were going for a certain look on Golden Girls. Like they wanted you to feel like they were older.
They did.
Because Betty White went gray early. I think so did B. Arthur went gray early. So yeah.
For sure. They look older. And they're like, they say, and they're 55 in that first season. They spat it out. They feel old. Like everyone, the whole show is about being old, right? That is, I don't think 55 is really that, like, when we consider today in popular culture, we see a lot of people in their 50s that are still super active. Like, I don't feel like anyone everyone in the Book of Boba Fett. So Ming-Na's over 55. Ming-Na Wen is over 55.
Yeah.
Like, the whole cast of the whole cast of the Book of Boba Fett is older than the cast of Golden Girls, and they're out here trying to take over Tatooine's crime system.
I could see the Golden Girls trying to take over Crime Syndicate.
It would have been well written. It would have been a lot. It would have been very funny if they'd tried to take over like Miami Underworld.
Yeah,
B. Arthur has been on Tatooine in a cantina.
That is
I was gonna say.
It is accurate.
Is Tatooine where you go when you wanted to?
The rest of them could be there.
So was Jefferson Starship. So was Tim Conaway. If you say that stuff, you think, boy, that Star Wars holiday special sounds interesting, and you're wrong.
I did.
Wait a minute.
On that. Yeah, it's something.
The holiday special was made in the 70s.
Yes.
B. Arthur looks the same in that as she does in Golden Girls.
You're right. She looks the same in Maude as she does in Golden Girls. Her life took a gigantic pause on the age. But again, they tell you how old these people are the entire time. Like they hammer that over your head that these people are old.
Yes.
Right?
Every time I hear B. Arthur's name, I always go back to Airheads, where they ask
New photos of B. Arthur.
Nice.
So he could claim insanity.
Yeah.
That is an underrated gem of a film. I adore it.
That in PCU, which oddly enough is my first introduction to Jon Favreau playing Gutter.
He had a bit part in like every movie in the 1990s.
He was in the original Daredevil.
He's in Rudy.
Yeah.
He's Rudy. Yeah, wow.
That was his first big role, wasn't it?
Might have been one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So
he's also in. You ever see that Keanu Reeves movie? I think it's called Thank You, Replacements. Yep. He's like, I think he's juiced out of his gourd in that movie because he's shredded.
Yeah, I think so.
Keanu Reeves didn't take a dime of pay for that movie.
Really? Why?
Yeah, he gave it away to charity and gave it to the cast and crew.
God damn, Keanu Reeves is just weird.
I know.
What a phenomenal human being. God, I love that man.
No, that's how rich people are supposed to be. They're supposed to be like philanthropic and whimsical and just let me help other people.
I love him.
I mean, the guy still takes the subway. I mean, that's just crazy that you're still mingling with the people. Like you're still a person. Your ego didn't get inflated
because that's life.
Money didn't change you. I mean, damn. I mean, you came from whoa to whoa. You know what I mean?
From whoa to whoa.
People that should be his biography, by the way.
From whoa to whoa.
Great title.
The Keanu Reeves biography.
Keanu Reeves story from whoa to whoa. It's all there. People dogged on him early on, like when he was in Bram Stoker's Dracula, which was just bad.
I was there.
Quite frank. I was there too. And now we hold him up as like, you know what? Everyone should be like Keanu Reeves. That's serious. We all should be like Keanu Reeves. We would lose Dave.
Agreed.
No, my cat is bugging me.
Is he as bad as my kid? Does he want to be on the show?
Yeah, I think she does.
I think when we're done with the Batman and we're done with Superman, but when we get to the Batman movies, we need to do all the Keanu Reeves movies.
Oh, I'm game.
Wait, all the Keanu Reeves movies?
All except Matrix Resurrections. I'm not doing that again. I have to do it one more time for a commentary track, and I'm really not looking forward to it because I watched it once and I was underimpressed beyond words.
That's what I'm hearing.
And then I have to go through it again for a commentary track, and I'll never watch it again.
I haven't seen. Yeah, I'm going to wait until it comes out on demand, or
it is on demand.
Is it already on demand?
Yeah.
And you know what? I went to the theater to see it.
You paid money for that?
Jesus.
And it's already out on.
I didn't pay
was
for
on
it.
HBO Max same day.
Oh, so
I didn't pay for it. My girlfriend wanted to go see it, and she doesn't have HBO Max, and so she.
Oh,
was like,
so she paid for it later.
Yeah.
No.
Good man. There's a toll for that.
Yeah.
For that one, I yo-hoed Hoist the Colors High me mateys. Yeah, I wasn't paying for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So
I guess I'll have to watch that.
Point Break is the best Fast and the Furious movie, so we might as well. I'm game for this.
Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves take all of my money. All of my.
They did, and it's aged well. We should definitely. I love this idea.
I was never a fan of Patrick Swayze. Nah.
All right, I'm off the show. I'll see you guys later. You don't like that. Peace ways for life.
Dude, he's got a lot of good movies. Like
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse is a
Ghost.
Guys, what he class. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The man was versatile.
Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing. Like
Donnie Darko.
Yeah, he did these like ultimate chick flicks, and then he went and made like these super high octane testosterone movies.
Yeah.
I said testosterone really weird there. Like, I don't know how it came out like that, but like that's incredible range and versatility from an actor.
Yeah,
never really liked them. Just I don't know.
Well, she's like the wind.
Oh,
I think he's a little jelly.
Right. My mom used to watch Dirty Dancing incessantly. So I hated Patrick Swayze until he went on SNL.
Oh, he's great. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the greatest skits of all time. The Chippendales one.
Yeah, the Chippendales.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
So I used to have a friend, and we always knew that his mom was in the bedroom doing something with herself because Dirty Dancing would be turned up crazy loud, and we know that it was the Peace Ways. So, shout out to my friend's mom because we always knew.
That is
I always knew
that is freaking hilarious.
She's got it on 50. Must be good.
She's like the wind.
Well, all right. Well, speaking of shout outs, we're not doing Social Media Man this week. So
why?
Yay.
You had 2 weeks to accumulate tweets. What's wrong here?
We haven't been tweeting.
I haven't been. I have been busy.
Otherwise engaged.
Dave's a man in love. That's why.
And your life is probably better off for it.
Everyone's life is better off Twitter. That's
true.
100%.
But for future reference, if you want to know how you can follow us on social media and be a part of Social Media Madness, Don, in a pre-recorded message, will tell you how you can get more superhero speak.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of Social Media Madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, you can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at superheroespeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them at stars_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Cult 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for hashtag GWAllStars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
Thanks for that, Don.
You should just make
thanks, Don.
You should just do live release here.
Yeah, my pre-vitriol.
I'm sure he doesn't remember the whole thing. So while you're here, Don, why don't you tell us how people can find the Omega Level Nerds podcast?
Well, even though I'm trying to forsake it, you can find us on Twitter at Omega Level Nerds with our YouTube link on there. And you can, of course, at DSquare72, you can find me on Twitter there as well as my YouTube link. So, but yeah, when me and the other Omega Level Nerds get together, or sometimes I invite other friends and christen them Omega Level Nerds, we get together and talk nerdy shit. So check us out on Apple iTunes, Podbean, and a video version, again, on the YouTube, which link on the profile at Omega Level Nerds on Twitter.
And of course, where can we find the Gorilla Brain podcast there, Mr. Ray?
Well, the question is, why would you want to? But if you are curious, you can catch me on any podcasting app that's out there, Apple, Spotify, you name it, it's out there. So you can find me on Twitter at Gorilla Brain Pod, Instagram at Gorilla Brain Podcast. You can catch me on Twitch, gaming around late nights, 8-Bit Ray, spelled out, not the number. And TikTok, 8-Bit Ray, same thing. But it's usually all my socials that I'm pretty up on. But yeah, get excited, boys. I got Matrix Resurrections coming up this week.
So, Ray, I gotta ask you a question. What do you do on TikTok? Because like, there's this writing. You dance actually? You actually
no.
I'm like, what is like? Because like, someone's been telling me, oh, you should get on TikTok to sell books, and that's just like, that sounds like death to me. So I'm just curious, like, if one does not dance on TikTok, what can one do? Because I don't know.
Sync,
lip sync. Yeah, you can do lip sync. You can duet people. You can stitch people. So you would take a 1 to 9 second clip, and then they'll say their piece, and then you cut in, and then you respond.
I actually know a trucker who drives across the United States with cats in his cab and gives updates on his drives. So like you can do anything on TikTok, really. It's like,
yeah, it's open platform.
Yeah.
You can go live on there. Like, we could be doing this podcast on TikTok right now if we really wanted to. I mean, it's not so much good for podcasting. Like, they sent me an email the other day. It's like, what would you feel about podcast on TikTok? I said, it'd be fucking phenomenal. Can we contact you for an interview if we so wanted to? Absolutely. I think it'd be a great platform if they actually pushed it, but it's more of a video content. You know what I mean? So I could post clips from podcasts like all day long, and it might reach.
That's what it is. Yep.
Yeah, it might reach 100 people, maybe, possibly. And I have
repetitive. My kids will sit there and watch the same, or not the same people, but different people lip sync the same song for just an inordinate amount of time. I don't get it. So kudos to you, Ray, for
it. Well, it all depends on your feed too. Like, my shit's just e-thought girls dancing around,
right.
As rogue.
I get that on my I'm not even on TikTok, and I get that on my Facebook. Like all these TikToks, it's
awesome.
Nothing but dancing. I didn't say it was bad. Let's get that straight. I never complained about it. I'm just saying that I am getting inundated with it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't mind Facebook. Keep it going.
Well, you
I don't need any of those.
If you get writer's block, just do a quick video of you banging your head.
There's a writers on there. Like, there's writers on there that are pushing their books on TikTok.
There are, and I got recommended it. That's why. I don't know. I fear any new social media platforms. I'm always like, well, how much of this my day is this going to eat up?
True. A lot.
That's what I hear. I hear TikTok is like super addicting. So I don't know.
Yep, but I mean, it's cool. I mean, I get geek news on there. You find cool videos, informational shit. I mean, it's not all dancing and lip syncing. So I mean, TikTok is fine. I always thought it was for kids and teenagers, but it's not really. I find more people my age and what I'm into, because that's the algorithm that is based around me. So whatever my likes are, so I accidentally liked an e-thought video, now I get 100. But I mean, it all depends on what you like and the hashtags you look for, and then they'll base it around that, and that's what you get.
You accidentally liked it.
No, I fucking liked it. That was a good one.
Well, while everyone wants to go talk their ticks, I don't know. We're gonna take our first commercial break.
Is that a masturbation joke?
Oh my God.
Well, and we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Seriously though, people like, they make jokes about, hot tub streams, but have you ever watched one?
No.
Yeah.
That's it from
me and my wife sat there and watched one. Yeah, and she was in the hot tub, and she's a pretty girl and everything. Yeah. And then as people would give her money, she would do squats. She would turn around and do squats in the hot tub. And we just sat there and we're like, this is what our civilization has come to. You can make money.
It's just the virtual strip club.
Yeah. Well, there's a big war about that on Twitch right now, because it's been going on for like 2 or 3 months.
I'm gonna say it's always a war. You get on there.
Yeah, they put
you got it made. But
Twitch put in new rules to keep it from becoming basically another OnlyFans, and then they got around it by going into hot tubs, and it's just like this escalating war on both sides now.
We've all heard about the girl selling the farts, right?
Oh my God!
Like, she was making 50 grand selling the farts, and then she wound up in the hospital because she was eating nothing but high protein.
Got close to a heart attack.
I didn't hear about that. I heard about the one selling the bathwater.
She She thought she was having a heart attack because she was eating nothing but farts.
Beans,
Or she was
yeah.
eating nothing but like beans and high protein food and spicy stuff. So she gave herself massive indigestion because she tried to scam everyone by selling farts. Now she's doing farts as NFTs.
But she made $200,000.
I know, and that's the problem.
What about
What the fuck do you do with a fart NFT? I'm sorry. We're done. We're done.
Look,
Society's
I looked it
over,
up.
people. Forget
I
it.
looked it up.
Game over, man. Game over.
Yep. Wrap it
So
up.
what you do is you okay, you don't really want to know. Okay, so
no, Ray, please. Ray, I have to know this.
I need to know.
How do we do a
Please.
fart
to
NFT?
capture the fart in a jar. Now, say it's Dave's birthday, and I might mail him a fart in a jar. So you get yourself a decent sized jar, a little bit, not too much, because you don't want the fart to escape the jar. So you have to find kind of a smaller jar and place it right around your anus. And then what you do is you get a wood wick, kind of like, you know how they put salt packs in there to contain the smell and things like that in packaging? Well, you do this with a wood wick. A wood wick will hold the oils and the odor inside the stick.
Oh, that's
so
true.
your fart will be trapped in the jar. And then as soon as you pop it open, you
You
breathe
have
that
put
shit in.
way too much thought into this.
I'm
You
an
know,
entrepreneur,
way too
Dave.
much.
He's a trailblazer.
That's
That's
brilliant.
what he is.
That's absolutely
But that
brilliant.
still doesn't get around the NFT fart. That's bullshit.
All NFTs
That's
are
the bullshit part.
Yeah.
All
What about,
NFTs are bullshit.
What about
every,
Daphne Delphine?
every NFT
She is a con
one
artist.
laptop crash away from being blown out the door. $200,000 for an NFT. Oh, my hard drive crashed. Oh well, it's gone. I mean,
And it's
come on.
only and I don't want to even get into that. All right.
Contributing.
So what's
to
your
global
address,
warming.
Let's move on to the news because I don't want farts in the jar from you. Right?
Valentine's Day is coming up, okay? These are going to be hot sellers, boys. Quite
Get your
literally.
Fart in the jar.
I
My wife read that article and said, "This is the job you were born to have: is to fart for a living." And so I thought about going on to like Shutterstock and just buying a bunch of stock photos of pretty girls and creating an Instagram account.
There you go.
I figure I can make 50 grand before I get found out, and that's really might be worth the investment.
I'll back it.
Dude, you're not the first one to have had that idea.
Of course, I'm not the first one, but
You're
everyone
silly
have
freaking
ideas.
bathwater. I mean,
Just
come on.
mad because he wasn't farting in jars before this chick was.
That's what I'm saying. I should have been. I fart like a
Good
champ.
idea.
My farts are epic. Like I could do this. I just need a pretty face, right?
Goddess.
You just need a brand. It's all about the branding.
True.
from the JTLU story.
I'm gonna
Dude,
sell my fart in the
Michelle would
jar.
verify that. Michelle would actually verify that.
Okay, we are completely off the rails here.
This is what happens when we get the 5 on the show.
I know.
All right.
Try to rein it back in just a tad.
You want to talk some news?
I thought
This
that
is an
was
article.
It was in the news. That's one of the
Oh.
biggest stories of the week.
better than Batman Forever. Fart in a
For
jar.
real.
Hell, I'll take
For real.
that.
I'll
We can talk
I'll
about-
give you that.
We
Definitely.
can talk
better.
about Elmo and Rocco. That's in the news. It's been a slow week.
Yeah, I know Elmo and the Rock. That even I heard about that one. Jeez.
Go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
So this is an article that you sent me, JD.
I did.
Yeah, Ed Brubaker joins the creative team for Batman: Caped Crusader for HBO Max.
He's gonna be the showrunner for the new HBO Max Batman the animated cartoon series. Like it's Bruce Timm.
Bruce Timm producing, yeah, and he's going to be the showrunner. So
I'm very happy. I am
Very
This is going to
happy.
be good.
Yeah, this. I figured this is like perfect news for the show because Brubaker hasn't been doing a lot of comic stuff lately. So this is this as him being probably my favorite comic writer ever. This makes me happy.
And
Your
Bruce Timm is going to
favorite?
make sure it all,
Oh,
it all
Brubaker's
goes well too.
fantastic, man. I love Ed Brubaker.
all right.
Oh,
What's one of a run?
Winter Soldier. Perhaps you've heard of it.
Captain America.
Yeah. I know the Winter Soldier, but what else?
Gotham Central.
Fatal.
Fatal is good. Oh, all of his independent stuff.
Oh yeah.
Fatal is excellent. Blah, blah, blah. The Fade Out was really good.
What was the
All
what
of his
was the
criminal,
stuff he-
his
the
criminal
stuff
stuff
that
is
he
on
did- yeah, a lot of that shit was on Vertigo. I
Mhm.
think it was back in the day.
Vertigo, and then it moved to Image. Like
Yeah.
as far his creator own work is great. Fatal was awesome. Fatal is like
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
like right in my brain. It's like Cthulhu stuff mixed with gangsters. It was great
It was like a more refined Sin City without the craziness.
with
Yeah.
different kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's true too.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, he's
Brubaker,
great.
man, yeah, I mean, and he's got, he was working on season 2 of Westworld for a while. He was like a writer and like a consultant or whatever it was for that. So he's got ties in with HBO Max. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Brubaker's amazing, dude. He's great.
Did an Uncanny X-Men run in 2006 and
Yes.
2008?
Yes, he did.
475.
He's what gave us
503.
Living Krakoa, excuse me.
Oh,
That was right before Disney decided to kill off the X-Men in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
And who
And he
who they
Winter
hand that
Soldier.
to? Down the road, Michael Bendis, 8-Bit Rays, buddy.
I believe we had a Matt Fraction run in between there, actually, which was very forgettable. Not bad, just I don't remember a damn thing about it.
Yeah, you're right. Honestly, and I didn't come along till Bendis and then Cullen. But yeah, Matt Faction and Kieron Gillen. That wasn't.
actually, he's written a lot of Batman.
Tons of Batman. He was one that he was
Oh,
a
yeah,
player in
yeah.
the Bat universe.
Catwoman,
In the
Gotham
early
Central.
2000s.
Gotham
it
Knights.
was like he was in the era where it was him and Rucka and like Jeff Loeb was writing a bunch of stuff at that
Yeah.
time. Like Judd Winnick was real big in that. It was all that early 2000s. It was just before he
Yeah.
jumped to Marvel and started doing stuff.
Detective. Yeah, he had
You
a
know
couple
why?
runs with-
This is a cool story. Him and Bendis were going to do a Batman Daredevil crossover, and then Paul Hurwitz put the kibosh on it. This is before they were like, super before like Disney money was involved, so it was possible to do this. And then
Yeah.
they killed it, and Brubaker got mad and took an exclusive at Marvel and never looked back.
Yeah.
Because he was one of the Batman writers, and I think he's a really good Batman writer. That's kind of been, I don't want to say forgotten, but like I don't think a lot of his stuff gets praised the way it should.
So is it safe to say that we're all looking forward to this show?
yeah.
Those of us
I
who
am.
can watch it on HBO Max, or those of us who can pirate it.
Don't look at me like that.
You do you, Ray. You do you.
Yo ho ho.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm excited. I'm just excited to get Bruce Timm back. And it looks like they're doing the original Batman because the ears do the kind of out and up.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the last thing that he did animated wise?
One of the movies.
Yeah, probably some movies.
He was involved with some of the movies until they really went through Flashpoint and changed
Did
all the
he-
voice actors and everything.
Did he do Killing Joke?
I would hope not.
Don't know. Give me a second.
I
was-
would hope that he stay far away from the animated Killing Joke movie.
No, he's been involved with a few of the movies that didn't come out well, but I think it's because he had less and less involvement with them,
Right.
and it got pretty bad. Yeah, he did Justice League versus the Fatal Five, which was awesome.
Bruce Timm produced The Killing Joke.
He did, in fact, produce The Killing Joke, but he didn't direct it.
Yeah,
I think it's what producing is producer is such a weird term because like as we saw
Yeah.
today, this movie we watched today starts with a Tim Burton production. Tim Burton didn't have anything to do with it. It was just contractually set,
Yeah.
So producer's a weird title.
It is. Anyone could be a producer.
Anyone can be a producer.
he's better as a writer though. Like his writing is awesome. If
John could be a producer.
Bruce Timm is an animator. He didn't do any of the writing on those shows.
he did some of the writing, he's credited with some of the writing.
Yeah, but I mean, like for ideas, like Paul Dini did the writing of.
Yeah.
If you ever go back and watch Paranormal Activity, go through the end credits. Anybody that donated money because it
As a
was like
producer.
Is a producer. Yeah,
as
I
a
know
producer.
about the producer. Yeah.
they got producer credits at the very end. Yeah, anybody can be a producer. You could produce a comic if you put the money off for it. You're a producer.
Yep.
Ooh.
So
Random Randy Savage says he likes this Batman movie. He just tweeted at me.
what?
Yeah. Because I was watching the movie, and so I had to tweet Batman Forever sucks. And I've got a lot of likes. But then he just tweeted back to me.
Right.
He goes, I kind of liked it. It's definitely flawed, but I think my expectation of Batman the Animated Series messed with my original viewing. But after watching Batman 66, it's charming.
Randy.
That's it. He mentioned it because I was just thinking he must like Cesar Romero Joker because that's what Two-Face does in this movie.
Randy, have you actually watched it in a while?
I don't know. I literally just got the tweet. So, something I know he listens too. So,
Yeah, Randy.
I don't know what you're
Randy.
thinking, my friend.
All right. Well, Batman Forever was the first movie without Michael Keaton, but Michael Keaton's back in a big bad way. Not only is he going to be in Flashpoint, it has been confirmed his Batman will also be in Batgirl. So I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, how does that work?
Yeah, and who asked for this? Like, is DC so bad that they're just greenlighting anything?
Yes.
Who
pretty
asked
much.
for
Yeah,
Michael Keaton Batman? A lot of people, because they want to see him in the Batman for Batman Beyond.
That's what we want, and they're not giving that, which is the problem.
They are beating around that bush. They are.
Just give us Batman Beyond.
They're holding the carrot
I have a
in
feeling
service
the Batgirl is going to have a Batman Beyond feel to it.
That is not what we want.
He's
No,
going to be the
it's
man in the
not.
chair, and Batgirl's going to go out and do all the stuff.
That's not how
Oh,
that
God,
works.
you're
That's not
right.
how any of this works. I did like, man, it's like they keep aiming for stuff we know we'd like. And then when it hits the wall, it's like 15 feet from the actual board. Like they can't.
This is the legacy of Warner and DC together. It's a lot of missing the target.
Yeah, it is.
And they're not just hitting the target; they're hitting the guy coming out of the bathroom next
Plus,
to the target.
I didn't say hitting the target. I said missing
Missing the target.
Yes,
which
I
is-
know.
Well,
That-
that's
I'm just saying
subject.
they're not just
Bat-
missing the target; they're hitting
Batman
people.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
AT&T doesn't want to negotiate with Warner again, so I think they're going to let the
So-
rights go up. They're going to go up.
Yes.
For sale.
Yep, that just came out that
wow.
Warner might be up for sale.
Well,
Imagine if Disney owned DC and Marvel, but they
I'll say
could-
why do I get a sense of the Death Star just kind of creeping closer over to the that's
Here's-
so boom.
Here's what's interesting is this isn't the first time this has happened, right? Remember AOL Time Warner? That was a
Yeah.
gigantic that was a gigantic failure of a merger too. So I mean, for some reason, whenever people try to absorb with Warner, it's been a tremendous failure.
Yep.
Right. But Warner's one of those things that's too big to like fail. So someone's gonna come along and buy it. I actually could see Sony picking it up before Disney. Right,
I would
because,
see
like-
I would see Amazon picking it up.
I could see
before-
Amazon.
So-
I could see
That's
Amazon.
true.
Have a better
New
chance.
players.
So we could get Batman in a Venom movie.
Yeah,
You know, if Amazon's in play, and I know they have plenty of cash, Netflix could make a move for it too. I mean,
That-
like
Yeah.
like Netflix, Sony, Amazon. Who else?
I don't think
Netflix-
Netflix doesn't have that kind of money. I don't think.
Netflix is big time deficit spending right now to create original content. So I don't know.
True.
Yeah.
I mean,
But this would bring in a whole bunch of immediate content.
all they have to do, all they have to do is they could borrow a lot, which a lot of these big companies, they just keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, but then puts you in a bad position. I don't know if Netflix is like a Sinclair where they could take on that much debt. Because
Well,
you're
the-
talking
the-
of multiple billions of dollars to purchase Warner Brothers.
Right, but here's the thing. Look at what the Marvel movies have done. If Netflix could do that right, whereas Warner sucks. I mean, right now, but if Netflix took it over and did what Marvel did with the DC properties, they could make a lot of that money
They're
back
corporate-
fairly quickly.
But they don't have Disney's corporate infrastructure. This isn't what Netflix does.
Yeah,
know,
I know. I'm
Disney-
just saying though. They might not have a
Disney's in different
choice
spot.
though, right?
No,
Like,
I think Amazon might be. I think Amazon, Sony. I mean, those are like realistic players I see for this. Possibly
Yeah.
Comcast. Peacock's been struggling. I could see maybe Comcast doing this. Like maybe I don't know.
I don't see us picking them up, but I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like everyone's in big time debt with the exception of.
Peacock's busy trying to acquire WWE behind the scenes. I'm
God,
sure,
I can't
but-
wait for that to happen.
Yeah, great.
Well, we can't wait for somebody else to pick up Warner. I mean, we'd like to,
Someone will.
I know,
Someone
but
will.
in this case, I wouldn't even mind Disney picking up because at least then we'd be getting good DC movies. you know?
Here's the
Here's a
thing, though.
question.
The government has to approve that though. Like they don't like those they don't like conglomerations that big. Remember
Mhm.
when Sinclair tried to buy Tribune Media and that didn't. They said no, we're not. And that was the Trump administration.
Yeah, I know.
Said
I
no,
know. And
this is too big. So that's
Yeah.
why I don't think Disney like they picked up Fox, but Warner's significantly larger than Fox. So, and that was just the movie wing
So-
of Fox. They didn't pick up anything else.
Mhm.
So that's the thing I'm thinking, because you did mention AOL failure with them, and now the AT&T failure with them. Is this people don't know what to do with Warner Brothers, or they just let Warner Brothers do their own thing and they're just mismanaged so badly?
I think it's that part. I think the people. I think Warner's had decades and decades of mismanagement consistently.
Just look at the
Yeah.
movies. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Not just the DC movies, Warner movies in general. Warner. Remember when the Warner store was a thing? Remember when Warner was like super
Yeah.
into like Six Flags and whatnot? Like
yeah.
it's just mismanagement. Decades of mismanagement.
Yeah.
But not mismanagement that would run you into the ground and have you explode. It's just like mismanagement enough to be frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, this is the the company that did bring you the Matrix and the Harry Potter movie. So it's weird that like
That's what I'm saying. Like they do enough to be successful, but
Yeah.
not, they're like successful in spite of themselves. You
Yeah.
know, like they could be Disney, but they just aren't.
true. So
It's interesting.
I mean, I personally hope it goes to the mouse, but I know a lot of these other guys, they need the help. Amazon, like you said, Peacock is struggling.
Yeah.
Didn't NBC have an app or something? I don't know.
Peacock, NBC.
It'll never go to the mouth. It won't.
I don't see the government. I don't see them letting that happen.
Yeah, I don't see them letting that happen. And if they do, Disney's just going to kill it. Disney's just going to be like, they can get rid of a competing competitor to their Marvel movies. So I don't think they're going to get it and be like, oh, cool, we're going to pay all this homage to our competitors.
We'd get a Marvel versus DC movie.
We would. They would do that. They would incorporate the DC stuff into the Marvel. They wouldn't do all of it, but they would like make Batman, because why would you not want Batman? Like
I was just thinking maybe we get an amalgam, the old comics back in the 90s.
Oh yeah. I got my Dark Claw #1 back there. Yes.
Yeah, I got it somewhere in a box somewhere back there. Yeah.
Get Disney Prince amalgam.
It's interesting. It's interesting to see what happens. Like I think that's one of those things we have to keep an eye on for 2022.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. That's a long journey for Michael Keaton that's going to be in Batgirl.
Welcome to Superhero Speak.
What's funny, this is what we're talking about, because like the guy Dave's the segue machine, but this segues right into a Warner Brothers clusterfuck from 26 years ago.
Yes. So you know what? That was it for the news. I don't think it's long enough to have another commercial break right now. So let's just get right into our main topic.
Oh, and let me just mention, I just found out there is a Rifftrax for Batman Forever, and it just happens to have been done by the guy with glasses, otherwise known as the Nostalgia Critic.
So you get Val Kilmer, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey, Michelle Pfeiffer,
Michelle Pfeiffer's not in this movie.
Nicole Kidman.
The sexiest Nicole Kidman you will ever see on screen.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So some of the biggest stars from the 90s into
well, that was the dialogue.
A Batman movie, which up to this point I think was still one of the biggest franchises. You know, I mean, I know Batman Returns didn't hit as well as Batman, but it was still a pretty big movie. And then we got Batman Forever.
There was no scenery left by the end of that movie because Jim Carrey and what's his face? Tommy Lee Jones. They ate it all.
All right, so
this was like in Scarface. They were just snorting lines of scenery.
No pre spoiler warners. This is, as you pointed out, a 26-year-old movie.
26 and a half years old.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it on HBO Max. But I will say this. All right, I was doing some research before we got on tonight, and everyone blames Joel Schumacher for this movie, and I do think he had a lot to do with it, but at the same time,
you didn't write it.
I don't think he's fully to blame. I think what happened was, based on the stuff that I've read, Warner Brothers wanted to lighten the tone of Batman.
Yes,
and I think Burton walked away, and Schumacher was a yes man.
That's what happened.
So, because what I read is, Schumacher originally wanted to do Frank Miller's Year One as a Batman movie, and Warner Brothers was like, no, we want a lighter tone. So
Schumacher is capable of making good movies. Schumacher's capable of making serious movies. Falling Down, pretty good movie, pretty serious. Like The Client, that's a pretty good movie. That's a John Grisham story. You know, I believe he did A Time to Kill. Like, those are good movies. The Lost Boys is way over the top. Yet not nearly as over the top as this, you know.
That's why Michael Keaton didn't come back. He read the script and said no, thank you. He just walked away from it.
Akiva Goldsman. Akiva Goldsman is one of the most renowned writers in the history of cinema, and whenever he does like stuff like this, it's a steaming piece of shit.
This sounds like an Uwe Boll thing, you know.
I mean, Uwe Boll movies are supposed to be steaming pieces of shit. This is like people tried. That's what the big thing about this is. Like, people tried. Like, there's effort in this movie, and it fucking sucks all over, like all across.
So originally, like, it was supposed to just be the Riddler, and then when Schumacher got involved, he wanted to add Two-Face to the movie.
Forever starting the downward spiral of
the idea
having
of
too many villains.
The more villains you add, the worse the movie is.
Yeah. We started that in the last one. No, we had two villains in Returns.
How do you explain No Way Home? You say more villains, more problems. God, how do you explain that?
Because Marvel did it.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
It's like
competent people made the movie. That's what happened. No, again, this is the same era. Like when Kevin Smith tells his stories about dealing with John Peters trying to make a Superman movie. This is this is happening incongruent with.
Yes. Like the story was, one of the stories was he walked into a meeting and they put a toy in front of him. This was Kevin Smith. And he was like, what's this?
Yeah.
What's this? He's like, oh, well, we need you to work this into the script because we want to sell this toy. And for the Superman movie, it was just like, I don't even have an idea yet. And you're like telling me work this toy into it. Yeah.
The problem is they...
yeah,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No,
I was going to say that Hasbro, I think Hasbro was the toy company that was making the toys at the time. They had a big toy deal with Batman Forever, and they kind of changed it from a darker tone to bright neon colors and all this other stupid shit, bat
So much
nipples,
neon.
all that. Yeah, just to sell toys. And I mean, I remember getting the toys, and Batman had like these big buff armor things on his arms. I'm like, that wasn't in the movie, but hey, here's the toy.
But that's the thing, though, is like there was an assumption that stuff had to show up in the movie. Now they sell toys. It don't matter if it's in the movie. You slap the logo from the movie on, and kids are still going to buy it. They don't care.
Mhm.
You don't need to have the thing in the movie. I'm glad that like people our age are now in executive. People who dealt with this shit as kids are now in executives being like, yeah, you don't need the toy. Just fucking put the logo on. It's fine. You know. So we've progressed as a society. We've progressed.
That's how we progressed.
Yeah.
Everything else makes you feel
this thing really is corporate. I mean,
Oh,
not
yeah.
only to sell toys, but to sell fucking fast food.
Oh, that's right. The
because-
thing
All
you
right,
said in the
the
beginning.
first fucking
the
line
in the movie is a
Batman
joke.
Yep.
That
that they
McDonald's
showed you over and over and over again in fucking
in McDonald's
commercials.
I remember that because they had that Batman sandwich. That was I remember this.
That
God
and
awful.
also, if you remember,
the
they had
cups.
no, they weren't
Cups.
cups. They were laser cut glasses.
That's
I still
right.
have them.
Yes.
I still have them. I don't have one here, but I do have them. They're somewhere at my mother's,
This-
somewhere in Delaware.
This movie is an apology to corporate America for allowing Tim Burton to have Danny DeVito bite someone's nose off. Right? This whole movie is I'm sorry, corporate overlords. I'm sorry we hurt the sales of Happy Meals. Here is Jim Carrey being a moron and not even a funny moron
Yeah.
for 90
Yeah.
minutes.
I mean, oh my god.
Oh, and we took the Batmobile everyone loved and turned it to a glowing black penis.
It is in
All
fact
right.
a vibrator.
Yeah.
It is a penis that can climb walls.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
For no reason.
Oh my god, we'll get to that too. But
The
like,
grapple hook didn't even go up.
Don't forget bat nipples because
Don't
Bat
forget
nipples.
badass.
badass. Oh, that's
oh
right.
my
badass.
god, I thought that wasn't until the next one, but yeah,
Yeah,
no.
me too. I forgot that was in this one until
Oh,
there's
That's because
until his
that's 'cause-
final suit, his prototype suit.
yeah,
they
that's
take
because
out
the
nipples.
next one is just a black hole for badness and just kind of sucks in all the bad items.
So, all right.
It's
so-
some ice. Yeah, it's
I
horrible.
remember being younger. I won't say a kid because I wasn't a kid in the 90s.
I was 15 when this movie came
me
out.
too. 15.
Great soundtrack, by the way. I mean, I
U2
didn't like
track, yeah,
YouTube.
Yeah,
Oh,
YouTube
yeah.
track
U2 had
is
it.
dope.
They
Yeah.
had flaming lips in there.
I remember late 90s, early
Kiss on a
2000s
Rose.
being like
That was
being
huge.
like Val Kilmer was the best Batman.
He wasn't
Not
bad.
in
You
I
said
mean,
this. You
his
openly said
writing
this?
was shitty, but he looked good.
He
but
did look good.
His mouth never closed,
No,
and he
he
only
looked-
had one personality the whole time.
He
He's just
looked
written as the
confused.
dumbest fuck Batman. That's all.
Yeah.
that's
The
all.
entire
Dumb as fuck
movie
Batman, yeah.
just looked like he didn't have a clue what the fuck he was doing, like what he was playing.
Do you?
the-
What
like-
was he doing? What was he playing? What was
Right.
this movie? What do you have to do, Batman? You have to stop the Riddler from stealing people's brainwaves? What the
Okay,
fuck
I-
is that? Like this
The
movie
what-
is so bad. Like, what's my motivation? Schumacher's like, I don't care. Give me neon. You know,
Yeah.
When
Like-
when
Neon
he's
green
figuring- when he's-
everywhere.
that's what
But he was a detective. He was a detective for
Yes.
half a second when he was putting the riddles together, and then he goes Enigma, Edward Nigma. It was just
Oh
the
my
most
god.
bland tone that you could offer.
He was
That was bad.
I don't think he was right for the role, but I think there's a better, like, here's the thing I have to think about this movie. I think there's a better movie here, right? Like I found that I actually kind of liked the circus scene once you got over the gaudiness of it
And the fact
like-
that they were broadcasting a circus, which
on Gotham City News.
Yeah.
Like the actual
And-
sequencing of it, I didn't hate it that much. I'm like, there's some pathos here. This isn't terrible.
They didn't also stop broadcasting when a terrorist broke in and started shooting people and
Yeah.
robbing.
To be fair, Dave, if CNN was broadcasting an event,
oh,
today
they would
and
never
terrorists,
stop.
They would
They'd
not
be-
cut away.
They'd be like, "This is payola, guys. Keep rolling." I mean,
This
like,
might be the most real life accurate thing of the movie.
yeah.
I don't know. Well,
Two-Face hurts this movie more than and Dumb Batman. Like Dumb Batman, I couldn't believe he's like, Edward Enigma's got a new company, Crime Spree with the Riddler. Like he didn't put two and two together. But Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, like this movie could have actually been way better if he played a more reserved, tactical.
If he was Tommy Lee Jones,
right?
Some would
Yes,
say,
if he was Tommy Lee Jones from
that's what I don't
America.
get. That's what I don't get. Like everything else I've seen Tommy Lee Jones in, he does not act like this at all. It's like, did somebody say, "Oh, you're playing Two-Face, you've got to compete with Jack Nicholson's Joker"? Like I don't know.
No, he was competing with Carrey, and there's an interview with Carrey, with Jim Carrey, saying, that at one point,
they couldn't stand each other.
Yeah, they hated each other, right? So Tommy Lee Jones, gave him a hug and whispered into his ear, "I hate you." It's like, what? That's out of Carrey's mouth. I mean, like,
and I believe that. Like, because Jim Carrey's dead is like peak. This is like him as a star on the rise, and he's not like really like this is before people figured out that Jim Carrey's actually could act, right? He was just doing Ace Ventura and everything. This is him just basically being Ace Ventura.
And they didn't put any rails on him. And they didn't put any rails on him in this performance.
Oh, they just said rails. They gave him a lot of rails. I have a bunch. Many rails were devoured in the making of this movie.
Fair enough. Yes.
Like, but it's
Jim Carrey was the highest paid actor in Hollywood at that time.
Oh, yeah. He was a box office. He was a box office sensation. Like he demanded nothing but make money. Like he had
set a record in this. Actually, he made, what was it, $22 million for this, and that was a big record at the time.
And I believe this is his fourth film. Like, because Ace Ventura's a hit, and then The Mask, and then Dumb and Dumber. So I mean, the man is just knocking him out of the park left and right at this point.
You're not going to mention Once Bitten? Do you remember the old vampire?
Yes,
I remember that.
No one counts the Once Bitten. That's like how Earth Girls Are Easy. Like
Earth Girls Are Easy. Yep.
Like but I mean, this casting makes sense, right? And maybe the more mature Jim Carrey could have pulled off it, because like after this movie, he starts doing better work, right? Like he's good in like The Truman Show and Majestic. There's good. Carrey can do good stuff.
I also wait. Let's talk about the writing though. Like, it could have been a better movie, but the writing sucked.
The directing sucked.
They knew damn well that Batman was going to sell.
Yeah,
it's a proven
fact. They didn't care.
I think the thing that
$80 million minimum.
I think the main thing, I know this is going to sound weird, that like would have made this movie better. Would have made this movie better if they flipped how they did the villains, have Two-Face's origin throughout the movie, like how he becomes Two-Face and everything, and just have the Riddler as the wild card that just comes out of nowhere. Like
because Two-Face has an interesting origin story, and this plot that they made up for Two-Face for the Riddler is nonsensical.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Brainwave.
And the most insulting part is they recycled this twice. Like it's the same thing they do in Iron Man 3, and it's the same thing they do in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. This is the exact origin of our Killian. Oh shoot, the dude who makes these films. Thank you, Killian Aldrich. It's the exact same thing. Looks like a nerd. Billionaire rejects him. I must get back at billionaire. Right, and they do the same look for Jamie Foxx's character in Spider-Man 2. Like.
And they're trying to do a whole thing with the duality of Batman.
Batman,
with a hammer.
Right, but like, that just falls apart in this movie. Like, there's nothing to make that work.
No,
it's just like this is the theme of the movie, but okay, but how are you making it work?
This is the theme of the movie.
Well, do we talk about hitting yourself in the head with a hammer? It's like, okay, Nicole Kidman, sex spot. That was it. That was your entire character. Just throw yourself at Batman. It's like,
horrible. I'm a psychologist. I'm so educated. Oh, do me, Batman.
She basically starts rubbing herself the second he shows up. Oh my God, what a hot entrance. That's the first thing. Yeah, she looks fantastic, but the second she opens her mouth, it's awful. And this is a good act. Like, there's so much talent in this movie.
Yeah, that's just
so many good actors are in this movie, though. You think about it?
Everyone's good in this
Drew
movie.
Barrymore's, what is she? That white chick.
She's the Two-Face's
Sugar.
Yeah, Sugar. There you go.
Yeah.
And she looks fantastic in this.
Wait, that was Drew Barrymore?
That's Drew Barrymore. She looks amazing. But yeah,
I couldn't get past Jon Favreau being in this too. So,
but that's the thing. Is like like the direction is okay. Turn this up because they're doing it like the six. It's clear everything's on a Dutch angle. Like it's all.
Oh God, the Dutch angles.
Oh, there's so many Dutch angles. It was like a
it's
like
worse
a
than the next
museum
movie.
in the Netherlands. Like, yeah, it was terrible.
It's so much worse than the next one.
I believe you. I'm not going to watch it until you make me watch it. But again, this is like they were doing Batman 66, and everyone's acting like they're in Batman 66. Like they took what worked about the first movie and completely threw it away for this one. Completely.
Except for the neon. They didn't have so much neon in the Batman 66.
Oh,
because back then you couldn't. It wasn't so easy back then.
Yeah, neon
this movie was the reason for the great neon shortage of the 90s. It's like even the guns had neon in them. Come on.
It's like you come out of grunge, because we're coming out of the grunge era, right? And they just slap neon all over everything in this movie.
Because that's what the kids want.
Prodigy was
fight
hot
with glow sticks.
What'd you say?
Prodigy was
even
hot
fight
in
with
95, man.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
Prodigy.
you're right. Orgy. Yep.
Orgy.
Yep.
Oh my god! And then
you guys remember the '90s when it was dangerous to walk home from school because you were afraid that the neon gangs might get you.
Yeah, exactly. The ones that took the time to paint the neon murals and paint their faces.
They might take you to a rave, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And the street gangs in Batman and Robin were worse, though.
It's gonna get way worse than this. This is the tip of the iceberg. Like,
is Chris O'Donnell like a 30-year-old Robin? Like, what the hell?
I know, right?
Yeah.
He's adopted a fully.
He's a boy wonder.
Why was he? Why? And my favorite stupid scene in this movie is him doing his laundry. His laundry. He's got a book. He's like, Alfred. Alfred, watch how I do my laundry. Like
karate laundry.
I remember being 15
winks at him on
the long johns with their feet. That's the the purpose of even washing your clothes, you nasty bastard.
He took the water out of one of them by wrapping it around his foot. And there's a dryer right behind.
That's what I want to. Why is he hanging up his clothes and there's a dryer right there? Like, where's the logic of that? Like,
and he put a bunch of water on the floor and just walked away. And poor Alfred has to clean it up.
He mops it up when he did that. Yeah.
See,
for like 3 seconds. You know that ain't doing it.
I just made a mess. You got to clean it. Like, again, like I actually really like the Robin origin in this movie, and I think there could have been a good movie with all of these parts put in here, but they weren't even trying to make a good movie. Like
no, they weren't.
They stumbled into some pathos when Robin's family dies. Like, my dad said, I swooped in like a Robin. Robins can't save anybody. You swooped in like a hawk, kid. Like, that doesn't make sense.
I did appreciate the scene with all the motorcycles, though. That was nice to see. Those classic those classic motorcycles. He had a couple of in there. Yeah, he had a lot of nice bikes in there.
I like that scene too, because that was like one of the most Bruce Wayne-ish scenes in the whole movie. Like, that is something Bruce Wayne would have. That's a perfect million thing. Well, is Bruce Wayne really into cars and stuff? Probably not, because he's too busy being all vengeance guy. But he's a billionaire. Why wouldn't you have a bunch of cars? This was
it's all facade.
Right. It is.
He has to be. He has to be Bruce Wayne.
Right.
He has to be that playboy.
Exactly. Which it's perfect. That is like one of my favorite sequences in the whole movie.
But he said he was fixing them up. Which
he did say that. I don't think he said it.
Maybe
he said Alfred was fixing them. He said Alfred's a good mechanic.
Well, the two of them have to do all the mechanical stuff for all the bat vehicles. So
two of them,
he could
I'm
do those.
Pretty sure Alfred's doing most of the work on there. Well,
poor old man.
Though they did explain that in an episode of the animated series that he had a secret mechanic that worked on the Batmobile.
Yeah. Harold. He's got I don't know what the term. This might not be a good term, but it's a hunchback guy, right? Who does his mechanic work? Yeah, that lives in the back. They never did that in the movies, but that is comic accurate. For the time he had a dude.
You know what else they never addressed, especially here, is that the Batcave, the most secret, secure location of the world's greatest detective, is a wooden door with a lock.
That for some reason, when the intruder alarm goes up, all the stuff comes up.
It's like intruder.
It shows you everything.
Intruder. Here's all the shit. Here's all the stuff.
So that's the other thing. Like, yes, just a wooden door with a lock to get into the Batcave, which it wasn't in the Burton movies.
No.
And then the other thing is, like, he has no security cameras in the
nothing
in the Wayne Manor or the Batcave.
But we know he does in the first one. He's spying all the people at his party.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And then in this one, Edward Nygma drives up with a moped and just drops a package off right at his front
And why
gate.
the hell would Alfred say, Dick, and then say, hey, and then show him that he's going into the one place that he wants to go into?
Hey, Dick, I'm not going into the secret closet right now. Thank you.
Just checking.
Well, would have been easier too for Dick to jump over the stairs and just slide in.
Yes.
with the slowest closing door.
That parkour was completely unnecessary.
This all goes back to the bad writing, though. I mean, if you think by the end, the whole thing. Oh yeah, they found out who Batman was. Okay, so the Joker and Riddler, his mind is gone. Two-Face is dead. Sure. What happened to all of the other, men that all of the
henchmen?
All the henchmen, the two was it Two-Face's two
murdered.
women? They all know
Batman murdered them.
Yeah, in the back, right?
That's what we have to assume. They didn't tell us anything else.
He went all Raja Ghul on them after the movie ended.
And people, I remember when this movie came out, people were like, "Oh no, this is like the best Batman movie ever." I remember people were saying this. I used to hear people at comic book shop talk about this.
I used to love it as a kid.
I guess I was like, Don and I are the same age. I guess I was 15. Is like you're old enough to be jaded.
10 or 11, I think I was.
So I remember going to see this movie and being like, "This is not what I expected."
Well, yeah. I was a little bit older and I was very disappointed in this movie.
So, I would feel that way 2 years later when Batman and Robin came out.
So also speaking of unnecessary, the chase scene, the car chase scene, like he sees the bat signal, and then all of a sudden there's a car chase, and then he escapes by using a grappling hook to go up the building, and then it's over. And we're like, what the hell was going on?
There is no logic in this place, Dave. You're looking in the wrong place for continuity.
One fire. I was going to say Two-Face fired a bazooka in a street. That doesn't make sense, but the Joker did that in the Dark Knight.
I was going to say, did that scene inspire the scene from the Dark Knight?
I think between that and Heat, they're very similar. Like this scene is a lot sillier, but there's a lot of similarities that surprised me upon this watching.
Yeah,
this one's kookier, but it's similar. It's almost like Christopher Nolan said, I'm going to remake a scene and I'm going to see if anybody realizes what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's probably true.
It's also very quotable. Like they're not exactly good quotes, but like, okay, so when Robin steals the Batmobile and he's like, he took the car, he took the Rolls Royce. No, the other car. And then he's going down the street and he's trying to pick up hookers, by the way.
Robin can't do better than hookers on the street. Like, why didn't he go to the mall where all like the normal teenage chicks are?
Exactly.
Of course, at his age, perhaps going to the mall to pick up teenage chicks would be questionable.
So he says to the hooker, "You want to ride in my Lambo, baby," or something like that. But he's saying, "You want to take a ride in my love machine." I never knew. I turned the subtitles on. Take a ride in my love machine.
Oh my god! And then
who was this aimed for again? Trying to sell toys, right? What kind of toys we talking about? Adult toys? We're putting hookers in here.
You saw that Batmobile. That Batmobile is a spectacular adult toy. Let's be real.
Did you notice in some of the scenes the tail fin was different? In some it was straight up, in some it was split at a 45-degree angle.
It is, but it's all wobbly. It is wobbly.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I was reading this too because I was reading a bunch of trivia about the movie. Chris O'Donnell insisted on driving the Batmobile himself in that scene, and he hit the curb and put a dent in it.
That's awesome.
That's great. Picking up the hookers?
Yes, picking up the hookers.
That sounds perfect for this movie.
Yes.
It's like metaphor.
But there's a lot of quotes in this movie. I'm just thinking about it now. Like there's 100 lines going through my head. Hey, Two-Face.
It's the car. Chicks stick the car.
I'll get takeout. Like this whole that's what you get at Akiva Goldsmith. So you get these one-liners, right? That you can use in a trailer, that you can use to market anything because you can cut it up and put them in a commercial, right? Like this is why that guy was hired, because he can do that.
Yep. $30 million marketing, by the way, for this movie. That's a lot of dough to be pushing around.
Yes.
Dude, I'm telling you, it was everywhere when I was a kid.
It was
fucking commercial.
So I will say we've got two memes that have lived on for a long time from this movie. Batman flying in the Batwing and giving a thumbs up.
That is true.
And Batman smiling.
Away.
No, Jim Carrey crotch thrusting.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
And
he is a well-endowed man.
And the Batman smile. Oh my god, that was so bad. When Chase is like, "Oh, I met someone."
Dude, I think she's the worst part of this movie because she really has no purpose.
No, she doesn't.
She's just there. She's just there for Batman to have a girl that he's interested in.
That's it. She serves nothing to the story, nothing to the movie.
And she confirms that the Riddler and Two-Face are crazy, which Okay, Captain Obvious.
Yeah, at least Vicky Vale was trying to, figure stuff out with Bruce Wayne, and
then
Michelle Pfeiffer was Catwoman. So
yeah, and then she's like, and you get this Catwoman character who's essentially this, like, intentionally this I'm Catwoman, hear me roar, this like women's lib, tough chick character who's super, as we watch now, super interesting in retrospect. Chase Meridian, one, is a terrible freaking name, god awful name.
Yeah.
Two, she gets kidnapped at the end. Which, why did they just murder Batman when they had the chance?
Because he won't learn nothing.
But what did we learn? We already read his mind. We already brainwaved him.
Because the plot, man, the plot.
That's what I'm saying. It's all plot.
As they would say in pitch meetings, because the plot can't happen if they kill him. Then it's like,
then why do this? I mean, it would have been cool if the final scene happens in Wayne Manor. That's never happened. That would have been cool if that was like the end.
Because he won't learn nothing.
But we didn't learn anything. They didn't learn a damn thing. They learned everything already.
Damn it, no, not them. Batman.
Why do we fall? Why do we fall, James?
Their whole setup was horrible because he's like, you're going to have to say one or the other. Are you Batman or are you Bruce Wayne? So he drops them both. What does Batman do? Exactly what you would expect Batman to do. He saves them both. He's dropped them down.
So what you're telling them both in the same, they dropped them both
neon
right
lit
next to each
hole.
other. I mean, yeah, into the same hole.
So he did what Superman couldn't do.
I guess so. You're right.
Isn't that what we're talking about here? Like,
make a tolerable sequel.
He did
make a tolerable sequel. That's good. That's good. So you know who did like this movie?
Played.
We're sitting here bearing it. My 5-year-old thought this movie was great. So maybe the Warner guys
was aimed at.
Yeah. So maybe the guys at Warner knew what they were talking about.
That's because it's aimed at people who have just passed object permanence.
That's what it is.
You go any further though, and you're.
The thing is, okay, so they spent $100 million to make this movie, which is a lot of money in 1995, and they made $336 million. So a lot of people went and saw this movie multiple times, and they sold a shit ton of toys, which got us to.
Parents bought the VHS.
Yeah, my parents did. My parents did too. Like, my kid loved it. I was shocked. My gas movie's not very good. He looks at me, middle, and goes, "Dad, this is awesome." And I'm like, "Well, that's because you're 5." And then it hit me. I'm like, "Oh yeah, this movie was made for them. It wasn't made for us."
Right.
That's what I was going to mention. As much as we're tearing this up, it made 3 times its budget. And if you watch this and you're a child or maybe not someone that reads comics, you're going to come out like, this is okay.
Yep.
You don't know enough to know how bad it is. That's the problem.
The problem is they got cocky. They got cocky and decided they could crap out something even faster next time. And then nobody was happy.
Well, because Batman was a household name. Like I said, my parents were not comic people, but we still had to go see the next Batman movie and buy the next Batman movie on VHS. We're going to have Val Kilmer, Nicole Kidman, Drew Barrymore, Jim Carrey. Like, how much star power did they throw in this?
Dude, it's ridiculous.
And it's purely a marketing tool. That's it.
It worked. It worked. It was a marketing tool. They successfully marketed Batman, but they They got cocky. They tried to make this exact same formula, but they steered all their worst instinct. Because I do think there is a decent movie somewhere, maybe.
That was the other thing. You said Chase Meridian's a terrible name. That was something else I read. Originally, they wanted Poison Ivy in this movie, and Schumacher thought, oh no, it'd be too much to add her with Two-Face and Riddler.
Oh, so you're telling me Joel Schumacher suddenly realized I'm being self-indulgent here.
Yes. So he decided to save her for the next one. Yes.
Where we had Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, and Bane.
Oh my God, don't get me started on that Bane. Oh my God,
baby. Monkey word.
That's possibly one of the biggest shits on characters that have ever been shit before.
Yes.
Yeah, but I will take not Nicole Kidman. Wow. Uma Thurman. Yeah, I will take her as Poison Ivy all day. All day.
Well, again, that's a good that's another example of casted decently. And just you're told to act over the top. Isn't it weird? The one in all these movies, these Schumacher movies, the person with the most subtle performance is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Crazy.
Is it really?
What kills the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
We're gonna get the Batman and Robin, but I mean,
he mourns over the model who plays his wife. I forget what her name is. Like, yeah,
it was Rebecca Romaine, wasn't it? No,
it's not her. It's someone like
She's a model. She's a model. I can't think of her name.
It was some German model from the 90s or something like that. It's some piece of shit. Like, not the chick, the movie.
But Imagine being me back then, though. And I know we're still talking about Batman Forever, but you watch Batman the Animated Series. Mr. Freeze is the first episode. It's awesome. And an awesome origin story for Mr. Freeze. Then he's going to be in a Batman movie. And then you're like, oh, by the way, Arnold Schwarzenegger's going to play him. And you're just like, holy shit, I got to see this.
Oh, me too. I thought the same thing.
It's going to be bad.
But here's what's funny is they kept the same origin. Like they used that Heart of Ice origin in that movie. Like they just didn't have the subtlety of a cartoon show.
They had Mr. Freeze on the 66 Batman, except he was what, Mr. Zero?
No, he was Mr. Freeze. He's Mr. Freeze. They just
he's more like a Bond villain though.
He's very much. I believe he's played by Otto Preminger, who was a Bond villain, actually.
Yeah, I think
Chase Meridian is a Bond woman name. I mean,
that's
right?
absolutely a Bond woman name. I guarantee that's what they were going for, John. I guarantee it.
Well, that's the only. But the only reason Nicole Kidman was in this was, like you said, it was all marketing. They just threw her in there. They didn't give her anything to do because she didn't need to do anything. They just needed Nicole Kidman on there. Hot.
You want to fuck Batman. What is my character? What is my character's motivation? You want to fuck Batman.
You're a teenager.
You're really smart.
And then once you realize, realize you have a chance with a billionaire, you want to drop Batman and go with Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
You are very like they tell us that she's smart. The movie tells us she's smart, but is she like?
Well, that's the thing. It didn't show us that she was smart. It was just a bunch of people saying she's smart. She really is smart. Oh, she must be smart. It's like,
no, she's got to be dumb because listen, she throws up the bat signal, right? Like, oh, this is going to bring Batman.
And then goes up in lingerie.
And it does. But 5 minutes later, Commissioner Gordon in his PJs comes out. What if Batman didn't show up? And it's just Chase Meridian in her teddy, in her nightie, and then the Commissioner Gordon just comes in his PJs.
And where are these people sleeping if they're coming up in their PJs in a nightie on the top of the police station? Come on,
dude. She wanted Batman to point the snots out of her underneath the bat symbol. This was a movie made for kids.
She wanted him to Batgirl her.
Very symbolic.
Oh, this movie. Batgirler.
Yeah.
Was it a kiss from a rose or a kiss on her rose?
Ooh.
Well, the YouTube song was like "Kiss Me, Lick Me, Hug Me," something like that.
Hold me, kiss me, kill me, thrill me.
There you go. There you are.
One of the few
this movie
songs I can actually stand.
It's actually a good song.
This movie was confused. Yeah. It was. I loved it. I was
a big song.
Yeah. I did. I had the soundtrack to this movie. To be honest with you,
so did I.
Actually had a girlfriend, which for me at 15 was very strange because I like comic books and video games, but she didn't know. She didn't know that. We met at a water park that summer, but she liked me because I liked that song, and I don't know. I'll always think about it.
Did you sing it for her?
This movie, no, I was a dork, but not that big of a dork. But this movie does not know if it wants to be for adults or kids. That's the thing that still confuses me. Like all the lewd jokes,
tons.
But yeah, we got the neon and the Batman 66 feel and the toys and the McDonald's marketing.
Batman 66 had a lot of that too. Like they had a lot of subversive humor that was meant for adult. Like Batman 66 was supposed to be your little kid could watch, but there were jokes that would go over his head that mom and dad would get.
Right, I'm saying
going for that vibe.
But it's not subtle. It is not subtle.
Subtle like a tack hammer.
Subtle like this stain on my shirt that I created. It was.
I thought that was a shadow.
I thought it was like a design. I thought it was like a tree or something like that.
Not at all. Not at all.
I thought it was the polo guy, like a shadow of the polo guy.
God just spilled.
Thank God we're not doing video anymore.
Just for that, I'm putting this. Now, just for that, I'm putting this video up.
So here's a challenge. What's positive about this movie? What did you think it was? What do you think that they did good? Because it's really easy to bury this thing, which is what we've been doing for the last 20 minutes.
Val Kilmer looks like a cool Batman. I actually remember the first scene. I was like, "Oh, that looks cool." Then he's like, "I'll take drive-through." I'm like,
if he could just keep his mouth closed for 5 seconds, because his mouth is open.
If all the characters,
they improved upon the fighting.
Yeah, I agree.
They did. Yes,
the fight scenes are better in this one. I agree with that.
Did he have a suit where he could actually turn his neck for once, or they still hadn't figured that out?
No, they didn't figure that out till Dark Knight.
Oh, okay.
Jim Carrey does play a good Riddler, not a perfect Riddler.
He's entertaining. I don't think,
but he plays a good. What makes him bad is that Tommy Lee Jones is trying to outdo him, and it just doesn't work.
If Tommy Lee Jones
had the over the top with the reserve strength of Two-Face, like it could have been much better. But
it would have balanced a lot better if Tommy Lee Jones could have just done like a regular, normal Tommy Lee Jones
What you
performance.
could do in
with
his
some,
sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, with some edge to it.
Well-
which if Joel Schumacher had a set of nuts, he would have told Tommy Lee Jones, "Hey man, you're in this movie because you're Tommy Lee fucking Jones."
Wait, he did.
We got one
He
clown.
Well, that's
He
another
did.
thing.
He had one scene in the movie when he was before he was Two-Face in the flashback when they showed the footage.
Supposedly that's a good scene, but they edited
Or
it
the
out.
guy
Well, they're-
somehow smuggles a jar of acid into court.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, but
they
their
must have
biggest
step like really careful.
That's comic
big-
accurate though.
but their
Like, that's-
biggest mistake
That's
Yeah.
comic accurate.
their biggest mistake was that Billy D. Williams was not Two-Face.
Yeah,
He should have
I
been.
agree.
But-
They set it up.
Again, they hit us over the head that the theme of this movie is the duality of Batman, but yet they don't ever do the duality of Two-Face, that's the whole point of the fucking character
because
from the
they
comic books.
They chose not to because, like, again, Batman the Animated Series gave us this great Two-Face origin, which actually can stand on its own next to Long Halloween.
It gave us a lot of good origins, especially
Mhm.
Mr. Freeze.
But
That
we
was
did-
one of the best stories ever told.
We talked about that a couple minutes ago. Yeah. This one, same deal. They could have steered into that, and Tommy Lee Jones would have done a phenomenal job. Like if this was a Two-Face movie, like Dave was saying, with the Riddler who just happens to show up, that would have been one thing. And I think you got a guy who could handle that kind of a weight, and that
Right.
would have been good. But I mean, Joel Schumacher he doesn't rein anyone in this movie.
No.
Like he's telling him to go further, which is just weird because he made, like I said, he made The Lost Boys, which is this super flamboyant vampire movie, and somehow that's more reserved than this.
It's true.
Yes, there's a topless saxophone player in that movie, and yet it's more reserved than Batman Forever.
And he's still doing that, by the way. When he goes to cons, he's still playing it. He's still doing live shows. He's still playing I Still Believe. He's even got a TikTok, funny enough. Back to TikTok. Here we go.
In the comic, they changed that character into a vampire hunter, the Lost Boys comic.
Did they? That's
Yeah.
great.
He's a vampire.
All right, John, you have anything good to say about Batman Forever?
No, I really, I mean, there were instances between the action scenes where it almost looked like it might right itself, and then it went right into Dutch angles again. Like it just didn't have anybody at the steering wheel. The thing was just banging off the rails. So
they did. The driver was just drunk.
yeah. Well, or snorting the scenery, as we were saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just I don't have anything really good. I did not like Val Kilmer in this. He was basically one single tone the whole time. So there was no, like, when the guy before did a Batman, he was way
Like
more
Michael
animated
Keaton?
Michael Keaton was way more animated as Bruce Wayne. And as Batman, he was more reserved. I mean, like, there was a difference between the two. Like, putting the mask on was the way is with Batman. It's putting on a whole new personality, and he had a range. But Val Kilmer, what is it? This was when he was in his diva days, right? Like, he was already causing problems on set and everything. So he
Artsy fartsy. He did the Saint, and then he thought that he was God's gift to acting, and then he went.
Yeah.
Is this before or after The Doors?
After.
Okay, yeah.
This is after Doors, Willow.
Because he got a lot of praise for that movie too.
When he played Jim Morrison is when people started going, "Oh my God, Val Kilmer's a serious actor."
Yeah,
He's
but
good.
when
He's good in The
when he
Doors.
did Willow, he actually had range because they had a good director for that. In this,
sometimes when you become a movie star, you stop acting.
Yeah.
That's true. Like a lot of times when you become a movie star, you just do what you're expected to do as a movie star. Like it's not about performing, it's about just being your persona on screen. I think this is what Val Kilmer thinks he is at this point. Because you're right, he is pretty good as Mad Mardigan, right? There's I liked him in Top Gun. He's a great, he's like the Johnny Lawrence of the sky in Top Gun. He does good performances, just not here.
Nope.
So to answer your question, I have very little, if anything, good to say about this movie, and except for the fact that it's not the next movie.
You're right. That's the best thing you can say about this movie is it can be worse.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, what are you
going to
think?
show us?
Huh?
Dave, what else do you think is that they did right in this?
I'll agree. The Graysons, like that, the origin scene for Robin, like it works. Yeah. I mean, again, they stumbled into something, and then they stumbled right out of it.
Yeah, they totally stumbled. Like, well, we didn't actually mean for the scene to have pathos.
Yes.
Is this movie better if it's not Chris O'Donnell? Like, because Robin's clearly meant to be younger, right?
Oh,
Is
definitely.
this movie better if he's like 15 or 16?
I think so.
No.
It
I don't know
would
about
be
better. Is it better executed?
It would depend on the actor that they got, and
Of course.
But and again, I don't think the
Elijah
director here
Wood.
was-
If this is Elijah Wood at 15.
See, because I also think if you get a younger kid, you don't do the scene of him stealing the Batmobile.
Oh, I think you do absolutely. That's way better.
do.
It's
A
way better
50-year-old
if he's
kid with
younger.
Batman.
You
Yes.
think?
If it's Elijah, if it's because this is like Elijah Wood post North pre Lord of the Rings, right? Because I think he's the same age as Don and I. So if he's like a 15-year-old kid who steals the Batmobile, it's a way cooler scene, and he's way out of his element, right? And then he's in real trouble. Right, because then he's in real trouble when he meets because again, let's pretend they made it good for a minute, right? Let's say if we have a young Robin, he steals the scene plays out the same way, but there's no neon villains. It's just regular old street thugs against a 15-year-old who might have some talent as a fighter, but doesn't really know what he's doing. Right now, you've got something interesting.
Yeah.
Instead, we don't have that.
Well, all acrobats do know Krav Maga. You know that, right? It's like
That's true.
just part of their training, right?
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, and then you have
the Ringling Brothers requisite. That's what that is.
And the thing is, and then at the end of that scene, when he's like swinging at Batman, and Batman's just blocking his punches because
he's punching he's punching. He's never thrown a punch in his life. He's like,
but I'm saying
he was throwing Star Trek punches.
That feels like it's a scene that's supposed to be a 15-year-old trying to punch Batman because he's angry.
And that's what made me think. Specifically, that's what made me think of this because that's the lashing out a child.
Yes,
not a grown man, not a young. I shouldn't say a grown man, but a young man, not something a 20-year-old would do.
Yeah,
you know. And again, why is he going to adopt a 20-year-old? That's just weird.
Well, with the Chris O'Donnell thing being an adult, it makes sense because Batman had two villains that he had to go up against. Not enough people knew who Nightwing was, so they couldn't pull that off. So we have Robin as a grown adult. And I mean, they were out to sell toys. Remember that. It's a business. You know, it's Chris O'Donnell. He has some name recognition at the time. Makes sense.
Son of a woman.
Yeah. I mean, so you got big names in here. So, and he's a good looking kid. You know, girls are going to eat it up. Guys are going to go, you know, take their girlfriends to see this movie and they'll be happy with the eye candy.
There's your demographics.
Yeah. But I mean, I think of it like this, like when Power Rangers, I think it was Turbo, they introduced, what was his face? I can't think of his name. He was a kid. And then they introduced him whenever he would morph, he'd become an adult because, well, we can't have a midget Power Ranger to sell toys.
Well, also because they were getting the video footage from Japan, and you know it wasn't the
that too. Yeah, but I mean, I'm just thinking about that. Like, okay, so we can't have a little 15-year-old Robin in this movie kicking Two-Face's ass. It wouldn't add up. It wouldn't sell toys, and it's all business.
It would have been comic accurate though.
Hold on. I think it would have been okay because isn't that these are the movies with kids that work, right? Is the little kid that like overcomes and like can become a hero. That's the whole point. You believed
it for Three Ninjas, right?
I mean, that's the thing though. It's like if he's got a weapon, because again, Tim Drake has the staff. So if they adopted the Tim Drake costume, if they have Robin smacking Two-Face in the head with the staff and then just ducking and dodging with parkour, it could have worked.
I think we're still on the you can't really have kids in these kinds of movies.
You can't hit kids, man.
Yeah, like they were still in that mindset, I think, at that point where
I don't know, because in the 80s you have that. Like this is the same guy that directed The Lost Boys with Corey Haim. Corey Haim's about 16, 17 in The Lost Boys, and he's doing battle with vampires.
That's true.
Right? I mean, like I think
maybe that was a Warner Brothers thing.
I think they just wanted Chris O'Donnell to sell tickets.
Yeah.
Well, originally it was
he was
it's Marlon Wayans in Batman Returns, and they added that got cut.
Oh, okay. I thought I read something where
that's the previous movie.
Okay.
It's Chris O'Donnell because again he's got success off Son of a Woman. He knows how to act around people that are chewing the scenery.
True.
You know, because that's when Pacino slid down the long hole of I don't want to act anymore. I just want to
hoo-ah. Yeah, exactly. That was it. That's when he stopped being an actor.
I'm thinking to myself, I'm trying to replay the whole movie in my head in a millisecond. Was there a scene?
That's too bad.
Yeah, I know it was terrible the 900th time around. But was there a scene where anybody is in the same scene? Like it's always one pan over here to Batman, pan over to Robin. They're never in the same scene together.
This is cut to hell. This thing is cut to hell.
Yeah, Two-Face and Riddler are together in a lot of scenes, but Batman and Robin not so much.
I think that's
the handshake.
I think that's
the
it.
cave.
But I think that's in purpose. I think they're trying to tell you the story that from a filmmaking perspective, like Two-Face and Robin or Two-Face and what's his name? Riddler are done a lot of two shots because they're united, where Batman and Robin are a lot of like singles because then they're on different pages until they shake hands. And that's like, I think the first time the two
That's
of them
a little
are
too artistic for Batman Forever.
that's filmmaking. Like that's like kind of filmmaking 101. Like, so like, I think that was on purpose.
That's a deep dive.
Yeah, because then they're also together on the island when he says "Holy rusted metal."
Holy rusted metal Batman.
They're together at that point, though.
Yeah,
you know,
But then they get separated.
They're officially a couple at that point.
They're a couple.
I mean, partners.
It's complicated.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Can we also talk about the first security guard, the safe scene? Hey,
Law enforcement in general in this movie is non-existent.
How about the cop that just
talking about
stands there and lets Riddler punch him in the face?
I'm talking about the security guard.
What was that?
It's boiler.
Wait, that's right. At the casino, the security guards are just standing there.
And they're just being instructed how to punch someone. And he just, must not mean.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Well, Gotham cops suck. That's why they need Batman. We've all established this. It's a long-running tradition. The police in Gotham are horrible.
They're all bought off.
They're all bought off, and they just eat punches the whole time.
And the security guard in the safe was horrible as well.
Well, I mean,
like acid. Yeah,
that's one of those quotables, right? Like I keep going back to Troll 2 and the guy going, "Oh no," or "Oh my God!" It's this guy was just everything he said was just hysterical. It was hilarious. And there was also the very first scene where they panned through the top of Gotham City. You know how they have all the big statues and everything? They're trying to give this motif.
Yeah.
Well, if you look in the right-hand corner as they're panning around the first time they're showing the city, it looks like there is a statue of somebody in a body bag. I think maybe in the miniature they didn't take the wrapper off of one of the statues that they put in there. I'm not quite sure, but you get it for like a half a second, and I had to rewind it a couple of times. I'm like, that's a statue of somebody in a body bag. It's like,
it's Gotham City, so
that's right. I mean, it fits either way, but it's just some of the things in this, like the continuity errors are
Tomb of the Unknown Victim.
Yeah,
Tomb of the Unknown Victim. Quite a few of those in Gotham.
Yes, it's tradition. Oh man,
my God.
This movie sucks ass. Hey, Batman destroyed the Statue of Liberty, and like nobody really cared.
The Gotham Statue of Liberty. It said Gotham on it.
It wasn't Gotham City until Detective 36 or something like that.
It was supposed to be New York.
Yeah, it was.
Well, isn't Gotham DC's New York? I mean, I don't know. I never understood that because it's right across the bay from Smallville, which is supposed to be somewhere in Kansas, but
so is Metropolis. It's like
right.
Yeah, they're supposed to be across the river from each other or something. So I thought Metropolis was New York and Gotham was Chicago.
No, I think it's swapped.
It's like it's more like
Second City is Chicago.
Yeah, it's more like LA. I'm sorry, it's more like San Francisco, Oakland, but on the East Coast.
You guys
they're
sound like New
separated.
Yorkers
They're
trying to
separated.
give directions.
They're separated by the bay. That's Gotham and Metropolis.
Well, I didn't mean anyway.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
No, I get that. In real life, there's two cities separated by the bay. I'm talking about just the models for the cities when they were thinking about them when they write stories.
Oh, it's both New York. They're both New York.
They're both New York? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, kind of like a Nightmare on Elm Street that had palm trees in Chicago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have those.
Location.
You have a palm tree in Chicago?
Tons of palm trees. They're all over the place.
No, I'm saying in the original Nightmare on Elm Street, they're Johnny Depp and Heather Langenkamp are walking down over the bridge, and there's palm trees everywhere. It's supposed to be in Springfield, Illinois.
Yes, we have those all over the place.
Do you?
Tons of palm trees.
Filmed on location.
Yes. Illinois, we're known for our palm trees.
Super mutated ones that can survive sub-zero weather.
That's what we can do.
I was about to say, what's the temperature currently there?
I think we're -5.
Yeah, the palm trees don't grow in that weather.
Oh, they're tougher here. We build them tough. Got those 7 degrees right now in Chicago.
They're built tough. They were built in Korea.
Tough.
Fine.
Well, yeah, we tough palm trees.
So I guess in conclusion, we're all saying
palm trees.
This movie sucks.
I can't think of anything positive about this movie except maybe costume design. I
That's exactly what I was about
Nipples?
to say. Riddler looks like Riddler.
Yeah. Two-Face looks great in that suit. The set design, some of them were okay. Like I like Two-Face's lair. The Wayne Manor is just Wayne Manor. It's whatever. But I did like the cars and stuff like that. So
Riddler was changing costumes like he was on a runway.
Right?
Every scene.
Great.
Apparently, that was influence from Jim Carrey, and he helped design most of his costumes.
Not surprised to hear that.
Great.
Yeah.
This movie sucks.
I got nothing. Nicole Kidman was the best thing in it, but only when she didn't talk. I mean,
honestly, she's the worst thing in it.
Well, I mean, she was there. It's just the eye candy. That was it. It's like,
and the scene when when Batman shows up at her place at midnight, she is just wearing the sheet around her.
Yes, she looks great.
yeah.
And she goes on to talk about Malaysian dream dolls and shit to cure Bruce Wayne's nightmares.
Oh
What
my
a
God!
waste.
And then
What
he
a
gives it
waste.
back at the end.
Yeah.
It was a present. Like, what the hell?
He don't need this. He's like, look, lady, I need my nightmares. I have to be Batman.
Yeah.
You can't be curing me. I need to be this messed up or I can't get shit done.
Is that what that was about?
He's like, I've got billions of dollars. I could just sit home every day and not do anything. I need the nightmares.
Oh my
I can
God.
afford the best psychiatrist money can buy. Like, get naked or get out.
All right. Well, I think we've beaten this to death.
Yeah.
So-
I think
It beat itself to death back in
Rest-
'95. We're
Rest
done
in
here.
peace, Joel Schumacher. I know he took he spent the rest of his career like kind of apologizing for these movies,
I know.
Yes,
right? But
yes,
trying
he
to
did.
explain that this is what I was hired to do. This is what Warner wanted. Which again, I completely believe him. Like I totally buy that this is exactly the movie Warner wanted it to be.
Yes. Yeah. That's always like when I hear they were doing this with I think the Justice League or Batman v Superman, one of them, where it was like, oh, the execs at Warner all watched it, previewed it, and they love it. And it's like, yeah, that's
a kiss of death. Right?
yeah, that doesn't tell me this is a good movie. Like,
that guarantees you it's not going to be good.
Because they hire executive people. Right? They're not like a guy like Kevin Feige who
Cares
is
about
a nerd. Well, he's a nerd coming up, right? These are just people that are good at moving their way up the executive chain. They don't know movies. They don't know comics. It's the same way now. They've never been able to figure this stuff out.
no.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, long story short, boys and girls, this movie sucks. All right. Let's.
So go
So,
watch
okay,
it.
is it worse than Superman 3?
Oh,
No.
that was the question, wasn't it?
Hey, ask me one quote from Superman 3.
Give me
Alright.
one quote from Superman 3.
Tell me one costume design that was great. Tell me one set design that was great. Give me one actor that was great. You can't.
No, it's true.
Good point.
I feel like this is why. Okay, this is my crazy theory. Is this movie tried a lot harder than Superman? I don't feel like there's a lot of effort in Superman. There's way more effort in Superman 4. They just failed completely. This movie, they have all the money in the world, they have all the talent in the world, and it still sucks. Like this is. I can excuse someone for trying to, do their math homework 10 minutes before they're due, right? You were just rushing. This one, they took their time. They tried really hard and it fucking sucks. I find that more egregious.
I think that they set the bar. They're like, look what Superman 3 and 4 did. We can't get any worse. It doesn't matter what we do. Let's just
They can probably right about that.
Yeah. Warner logic.
Huh.
Dave, what do you think? Better or worse than Superman 3?
Dave loves Superman 3.
Again, Superman 3, when I watched it again, I forgot how strongly they steered into the comedy in that.
Real hard.
I'm trying to think.
Richard Pryor skiing on a mountain of
Literally,
that happens in the movie.
literally happens in the movie. Jesus, that is a tough question. Which movie sucks
How is it
worse?
tough? We just gave you so many facts.
No, you gave me your facts.
Okay, well, they are facts. Google it.
At the end of the day, this is worse than Superman 3.
I agree. I think it's a more spectacular failure. I think this is worse than Superman.
Superman 3 at least has things that people remember, like this Clark Kent versus Superman scene. Like,
I don't know if they remember that, to be honest with you. I think that
No.
Superman 3 is largely forgotten. I think that Superman 3 is so largely forgotten, it's like inoffensive. Like no one remembers it. So it doesn't, everyone remembers this movie.
yeah,
Like it's a bigger failure.
yeah, I think so.
Which is awful, by the way. I'm not excusing Superman 3. That's a piece of shit too.
It depends on how you measure success then, right? I mean, because
How do you measure success?
right.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. Like, right?
Steer into the skid. All right.
Superman 3 tried to bring out some
No,
very
Superman-
heavy.
They tried to make a movie very fast.
Yeah, they tried to bring out some very heavy material with the fight between Superman's two halves, and nobody remembers it because they did it badly. But this Batman is so much worse that you remember it because it was so much worse.
I agree with you, John. I agree with you.
Yes, much more star power in this one. You're right.
Wasted. Much more star power. Wasted.
An Academy Award-winning writer.
Yeah.
How do you lose within? Well, I mean, how does an Academy Award writer wind up with this?
Because you're doing what you're told.
Apparently, we upset Don so much he left.
Yeah, Don's like, I'm out of here. You guys suck.
Let's see. Ridley Scott, Academy Award-winning director and writer,
Has made
right?
bad movies.
And he did Alien Covenant. Case in point. There it is.
All right, Don, you settle it. Better or worse than Superman 3?
To me, it's better. I mean, there's a lot wrong with Batman Forever, but it was at least just recognizable as a Batman. And the turn to the campiness, the neon. I was first introduced to Batman with the Batman 1966 stuff. So for me, there was a little bit of return to form for me in this. It's just I can't get over the Two-Face character. Yeah. And Two-Face Batman just being dumb ASF and the Chase Meridian character again.
So, also dumb ASF.
Horrible.
I mean, I still go back to like if I'm at home and I'm flipping and there's nothing on TV and I'm gonna leave Superman 3 on before I'm gonna leave Batman Forever.
See,
on.
I'm not going
Forever on.
I'll find something else. The Weather Channel's on. I think that's our Twitter poll. I'd like Dave, please put a Twitter poll this week because I'm very curious to see what people think is worse.
So it's going to be Batman Forever
and Superman
3.
And
I
like
Weather Channel.
No, seriously, because people will vote Weather Channel. No, I want a social experiment. I bet more people will pick Batman Forever because more people have seen it.
I would rather just kingpin it. I'd rather just stare at the wall endlessly.
I'm curious.
Very philosophical.
I'm very curious, Dave.
I could always find a book.
Yeah,
all right.
Read.
Or play Minecraft or anything.
All right. Can we wrap it up?
Yeah, we can wrap it up. I look at Batman Forever like you ever like gone and hung out with your girlfriend, not you, Dave. I know what that entails for you. That's not the point I'm making.
Oh my God.
The point I'm making is when you're in your younger years and you go over your girlfriend's house and you're trying to get some, but her parents are home and they keep knocking on the door. That's essentially Batman Forever. And that's how I'm gonna wrap it up. The Warner execs kept knocking on the door. What you doing in there? And that is what fucked up Batman Forever. It was just corporate. It was just money. Sell the toys, sell the video games. Yes, the video games sucked ass.
It's a very
That's a great description.
Yeah,
it's pretty accurate. I like.
Thank you.
That is brilliant.
Batman Forever cock. Batman Forever cock blocking.
Yep.
That's what WB stands for. It's Wiener Block. That's exactly what.
And they continue to do that till this day.
Yes. Yes.
I know. I've seen
them. Start me on the garbage bag man Riddler that's coming.
The more I see of this Batman movie, the less faith I have in it.
Holy shit.
Get the fuck out of here. What is wrong with you? Explain yourself before we end this. Explain yourself.
For real? The Zodiac Riddler. Like they've just made Zodiac. That's not the Riddler.
Neither was Jim Carrey.
Actually, Jim Carrey is closer to the Riddler than.
Yeah, he is.
I have to agree.
Like, it's the Riddler. Like again, this should have been the Two-Face movie.
This is Jigsaw Riddler. I'm all about it. Anything to get me away
Jigsaw
from the current DCEU, I'm with it. And Matt Reeves is a great director.
He is.
Pattinson looks the part.
I do like that Batmobile.
But if they're going to do a villain like that, there's so many other they could have done besides the Riddler. Like
that could tell a compelling story.
This feels like Batman does 7.
Scarecrow.
Batman does 7. What's in the box?
What's in the box? What's in the box?
It's gonna have everything that you want from a Batman film. It's gonna have your fights. It's gonna have your explosions. It's even gonna have detective work in this one. Blow my mind. Batman is a detective.
If it doesn't have Richard Pryor skiing down a pile of cocaine, it's not worth it.
I'm gonna get you a Superman 3 poster to hang behind when you do your little show here. I'm gonna have it. It's gonna be right behind you. It's gonna be great.
I think that
just Richard Pryor on the cocaine. That's it.
That's
just Richard Pryor on the cocaine. Yeah, fucking inspiration. Cocaine. Al Pacino with his face and the cocaine pile and Scarface? Nope. No, Richard Pryor with a mountain skiing. That's inspiration for life,
Yes.
man. Always achieve your goals, guys.
I wish it would have been Richard Pryor's. I think we're gearing ourselves up to all review the new Batman movie together. I think what's going to happen.
I would agree.
We're building to that moment.
That's
When's
fine.
it come out?
March.
It'll be on streaming
Is it
in
theater
April, but I'm
only or
gonna go
HBO Max?
theater in March, and then April it'll be on HBO Max. So 3 weeks after release in the theaters.
The COVID wave should be down by then.
I'm gonna go regardless.
Boy,
Well, you
I've been
can't.
saying that for
We'll-
years.
we'll-
at this
we'll-
point.
You got your
wait to
antibodies.
see-
Tip top.
We'll wait to see
antibodies.
because there could be another variant. Who knows? You know, we'll just.
It's
Optimus Prime, the Optimus variant.
Nancy negative. That's around the time of my
First
girlfriend's
thing variant.
birthday, so I don't know if she'll want
Oh
to see
my
Batman on.
Lord.
Well, happy
Dave.
birthday, Dave.
Oh, good God! Someone just got incredibly. Never. I was
What
gonna
were you gonna do? What were you gonna do,
pussy
Dave?
whipped very
Take her to
quickly.
dinner, dude. You can find a theater that has food in it. You can order
true.
at your seat
That's
and
true.
see Batman. Best of
All
both
right.
worlds.
It's called
That's true.
Movie Tavern.
All
Boom,
right,
boom.
let's wrap this. Let's bring this one in for a landing here. All
we
right,
tried that 3 times.
let's go around the room. We'll start with you, Ray. So give us again, where can people find the Gorilla Brain podcast, and do you have any recommendations?
You can find the Gorilla Brain podcast on any podcasting app that's out there. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can catch me on Instagram at Gorilla Brain Podcast, also on Twitter at Gorilla Brain Pod. You can also catch me on Twitch gaming it up with myself late nights, and you can catch me at 8-Bit Ray. Also TikTok, same deal, 8-Bit Ray. My recommendation this week, and it's not gonna blow anyone's mind, but I love to play pinball. Pinball is the most zen, relaxing thing that I can do, like to just get me out of the world. So I downloaded this game called Pinball FX 2 or 3, and it has so many. If you are a nerd, if you like Marvel and movies, like not the Marvel movies, but there's Marvel and movies in general, they have Jaws boards, Aliens, tons of Marvel ones. Geez, so many. But yeah, if you're a nerd, go and get yourself some pinball and just zen out, relax, and have a good time.
All right, Don, go ahead. Tell us where we can find Omega Level Nerds, and got any recommendations?
Well, yes, you can find the Omega Level Nerds podcast on YouTube, which our link to our profile is on Twitter at Omega Level Nerds. So please follow us there. Personal Twitter at DSquare72. So check that out and follow me if you could. Recommendations, of course. Again, I'm going to recommend Wastelanders Star-Lord, written by Rich Dewitt. I want to say surprising, but it's not surprising. It's awesome. So check it out. You will like it, particularly if you're an X-Men fan. But if you're a Star-Lord fan, you'll like it even more. And that's going to be about, Witcher Season 2. I know we didn't talk about that here, and I haven't even talked about that on my own show. But after I watched the first season a second time, understand that we were dealing with 2 timelines. And so once I actually understood it and was smart enough, I thoroughly enjoyed Season 2, which is much more straightforward. But yeah, check it out. Henry Cavill's killing it in that role.
Okay, cool. JD, any recommendations this week?
I just put out a re-release, I should say, a comic series of mine from 2014 that was won a few indie awards that I'm really proud of. Amazon is now doing a lot more to support independent comic creators, I should say. So my book Deluge has been re-released. It's really good. I'm really proud of it. Art by my buddy Rich Clark, and it's available now on Amazon. So I highly recommend anybody go pick it up. It's a story about an undercover FBI agent who is trying to organize crime in New Orleans, and they're there to try to round all the criminals up in one fell swoop. And then Hurricane Katrina comes in, knocks them out, and now they're on the run from a bunch of racist cops who are looking to kill all the criminals in New Orleans. That's based on a true story, so I'm very proud of that one.
Cool. Yes, I actually shared the link on that, and then realized I didn't put any text on when I shared it, so it just shared the link. Because I thought it was going to copy your text, and it was like it didn't, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah." Sharing on Facebook is weird like that. Doesn't do that anymore. But I appreciate the effort. But I highly recommend if you want to read some good, nice thriller book, it's available.
Cool, John.
Well, we didn't really talk much about it, but I'd say go see Hawkeye. It really is. Yes, there are no big. Well, there actually are a couple of big bangs, but I actually like it. It's a really nice show at the end to pass the torch on to the new Hawkeye, and everybody in it is good, and seeing them bring home the Netflix universe is kind of nice too. Although I think it's really the characters changed a bit. Anyway, we'll talk about that later probably. But yeah, go see that. And JD, I have one for you. There's a new anime starting out. The new season's out. So there's one called Miss Koryutsu from Monster Development Department. That's the title of the anime, but it's the episode titles that you'd like.
Oh, okay.
Episode 1 is called "She Cried Inside When the Monster to Strike Fear into the Hearts of Men Was Born into the Evil Society Plotting World Domination."
That is so Japanese.
Every episode is gonna have a long title like that. Apparently, I love reading the translations of like Japanese wrestling promos where everything is so like grandly stated and verbose. Yep. It's beautiful. I adore it.
All right. I'll recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page and comic book reviews by our good friend D Square. And what do I got? I don't have anything. So I'm actually going to second Don's recommendation. Make sure you're checking out Wastelander Star-Lord #1, written by our good friend Rich Douek, because maybe we'll get him on the show again soon to talk about it. And maybe he's see if he's got anything else in the works for Marvel, because that would be cool. And yeah, that's it. So until next time, as always, thanks for listening, and don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.